last part. Sir, what's beautiful about that, those seats, you have taken the last seat in the corner. I understand the classes we used to do it, but you do it there. I love that. That complete section is empty, but you are sitting the last row. Love that part. Love that thing for the last bench. लास्ट बेंच का अपना ही मजा होता है सर, वो यादें. Okay, good morning ICI Dubai, Saturday morning and India compounding. Compounding, an 11-letter word which can make any morning good. Assume your bank calls you and says your bank balance is being compounded at 1% per day on your balance. Even at 1% compounded daily, the rate of return in 1 year will be more than 36 times. So, if you have kept 100,000 AED in your bank account, it will become more than 3.6 million AED in 1 year. Just imagine this is happening with you and see your faces. You are smiling, seeing 100,000 converting into 3.6 million. This is the power of compounding. This is what compounding does. Welcome to all the dignitaries, elite speakers of the day, my heroes, my past chairmen, and all my seniors and fellow members. Welcome to one more event of ICI Dubai, India Compounding. We will talk more about it, but first thing first, it's time to pay the respect. Respect to the country where we arrived with eyes full of hope, which provided us great scope and helped in compounding our wealth, our UAE. This will be followed with respect to the country whose compounding is being watched globally, who made 14 billion eyes ball turns towards it and admire its growth story, our India. And finally, respect to the institution without whom you and me would have never known the power of compounding. Yes, financial management paper may have troubled us when we were doing CA, and words like IRR, NPV, ARR made us worry, but today we are because of our institution, our ICI. It's time for national anthem of UAE and India, followed by our motto. I will request everyone to rise from their seats for the national anthem and ICI motto, please. This we will do together. अधिनायक जय है भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा, तब शुभ नामे जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाए तब जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय है भारत भाग्य विधाता.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्लं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैत 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 एतद्द्वैत.
Thank you all. Please take your seats. I'll give 2 minutes, half of 30 seconds for everyone to settle down who just joined us. We have seats available that side as well. Perfect. Talking about IRR, NPV, ARR, I even got scared when the movie RRR came in. I thought it's another brother and sister of financial concept which has arrived in movies, and it will be difficult to understand. But thank God, RRR was good. It was a good movie and I enjoyed. Jokes apart, time to think about how the weeks unfolded. We had our last event on 23rd of September and today we are sitting on 21st of October. You might be wondering that it's almost a month, but it's not the case. How many of you attended 23rd September Bits to Billion? Quite a lot. This was a mesmerizing event which we witnessed together. There are many, and I'm sure that you will echo it, that yes, it was one of the fine events of the chapter where each speaker was an inspiration, a motivator, a mentor, and so many learnings and takeaways we got from the day. Do you agree? Sir, जोर से बोलें, do you agree? Perfect. I love that session on Bits to Billions. If you missed it, we'll do something again in the future. While it looks like that was the only event done for a month, trust me, that was not the case. Your managing committee was working every weekend without break for the chapter, for you, for the members. Immediately after 23rd September, we had an SME workshop for 2 days on 30th September and 1st of October. The members who attended had nothing but praises for the chapter. Immediately after that, the next weekend, that is of 7th and 8th October, we had Power BI Masterclass for 2 days. Again, a session which I believe as a chartered accountant, we need to learn as Power BI. Thanks to Sanjay Gagrani for spearheading the same and bringing Power BI. That was also not the end. Immediately after Power BI, that is the last week, on 15th of October, the committee organized the last session of corporate tax and transfer pricing committed by the previous committee to members of batch 1 and batch 2 of 22-23. And we fulfilled our commitment. So it's not only Salman Khan who commits and sticks to it, your committee members also does the same for you. If we commit, we fulfill it. Thank you. So not a single week of rest for the committee members after Bits to Billion. And today, we all are here for a session on Compounded India. I can only say thank you to each and every committee member who were part of all these initiatives and stood by it. And we all together can clap for the committee members to give them that josh to continue week after week for us together. Why I always request you to clap. The reason is your appreciation is our food, which gives us energy to go on and on. Thank you, everyone. Give a round of applause again to the committee because they have actually not taken rest for last 3 weeks. With this, let me invite Chairman of the chapter, C. Hari Kishan Rankawat, on the stage for his chairman's address and sharing the calendar ahead. One request, Hari Bhai, committee ko kuch to break dena. A round of applause for Hari Bhai, please.
I think Jay Prakash forgot to mention about one of the event which was organized by ICI India, International Research Awards. This was actually, it was organized just 2 days back, and there were very less presence, although it was organized by ICI India, but we were also kind of co-host in that event, and it was a great event, and the President ICI has actually enlightened us with a lot of initiatives, and one of the actually initiative which you guys are not aware, let me share with you. He told that ICI India is coming up with a course or examination for the chartered accountants, for the students actually, new students. They can have the exam based or focused on the UAE corporate tax law and VAT instead of direct or indirect taxes of India. So they are coming up with UAE specific CA examination. And we have to work on that one in order to start that examination in the UAE very soon. In the next 6 months, it will be live. So our chief guest and speaker, Mr. Ramdev Agrawal, speakers of the day, CA Ajay Menon, our Mr. Akhil Chaturvedi, CA Rajiv Agrawal, Vice Chairman CA Rajesh Somani, Galaxy, our past chairman, and managing committee members, guest sponsors, and respected members of the chapter. Namaskar and a very good morning to all of you. नाश्ता हो गया सर, थोड़ा good morning बोल दीजिए. So I welcome each one of you to our event, today's event, Compounded Past, Compounded Future. Actually, I was thinking, how come future is already compounded? I think Ramdev ji is going to enlighten us. Future is also compounded. So we have to be part of this journey. And now may Mar Durga empower you with 9 forms: name, fame, health, wealth, happiness, humanity, education, worship, and power. As you fast and pray during these auspicious days, may your devotion be rewarded with divine blessings. I wish happy Navratri to each one of you and your family as well. And I am happy to share one more news which was shared by the President, and that the Institute of Chartered Accountant has bagged a prestigious UN award for the contribution to sustainability reporting. And it was awarded during the 8th World Investment Forum at Abu Dhabi on 17th of October, and we all committee members were there to get that award. Thank you. And the ICI sustainability initiatives actually have received the highest score amongst 70 initiatives received from all around the world. So ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for ICI India as well? Now coming back to the Indian stock market, friends, the Sensex, which started at modest base of 100 in 1979, has now, you know, that increased very well beyond the 60,000 mark, representing the compounded growth. And in future also it is going to compound further. This monumental rise is a testament to the potential and resilience of Indian economy. Moreover, the stock market has not only expanded in size, but has also become more inclusive. The market's increasing accessibility, thanks to the technological advancement, has empowered a broader segment of our population to participate in the financial market. As a result, the number of retail investors has grown significantly, contributing to the market's vibrancy. Factors such as India's demographic dividend, economic reforms, and technological advancements will play a pivotal role in shaping the market's trajectory. I believe that the impact of chartered accountants on the Indian stock market is profound and undeniable, which is evidenced as CA Ramdevji Agrawal is also a member of our CA fraternity, and he is the founder of one of the most well-diversified financial services firm, Motilal Oswal. A lot of our friends are working actually in senior positions in the financial institutions and the regulators, and they have played a pivotal role in shaping the market's integrity. Anyways, we have got amongst us Ramdevji Agrawal, who is an expert of Indian stock market, so we'll hear his expert views today. Our first speaker, CA Rajiv Agrawal, founder and managing partner or trustee of Maja Ghar Foundation, He is going to talk on social investment, our soul's calling. So we have brought both the subject matters expert, social investment as well as financial investment. I would like to thank all our speakers and panelists to take the time out of their busy schedule to address our members. Can we have a big round of applause for our speakers and panelists? Friends, now let me share with the forthcoming events. On 25th of October, our EXCOM member CA Asna is going to organize tax and compliance focus group meeting on the topic business restructuring and intra-group transactions, which is going to impact under the UE corporate tax law. Thereafter, we will celebrate Diwali and Dandiya on 4th of November at Delhi Private School. Now, from 24th to 26th of November, ICI India is going to organize GLOPAC, Global Accounting Convention, in Gandhinagar from 24th to 26th November, 3 days. And I think our Prime Minister Modi ji also going to be there. So I request all of you to register at the earliest possible because the deadline is by the end of the next week. 4,000 participants have already registered across the globe. So you are also most welcome. If you want to join, please join. It's a great networking event and as well as learning. There will be a lot of learning sessions as well. And then next event is like we will be going to Japan on the holiday because of the UE national holiday for 7 days actually with the help of our travel partner Uranus Travel. And so that is the third and the last study tour. And then next on 9th and 10th of December, we are going to organize annual international conference at Grand Hyatt Hotel. So please book your date or book your calendar. Let me take this opportunity to thank our EXCOM for all the logistics and arrangements they are making, and they are working day and night on this. So can we have a big round of applause for them as well? Namaskar and thank you very much.
Thank you, Haribhai. I love you kept the request. You have not put in a lengthy calendar for any of us. Thank you very much for that. Moving on. Now, it's time for the first session. A topic which is close to my heart. Social investment. What soul calls for. A life not lived for others is not a life. Give your hands to serve and your hearts to love. And helping hands are better than praying lips. These are not my words. These are the words of Saint Teresa of Calcutta, Mother Teresa. And our first speaker of the day, CA Rajiv Agarwal, lives by the statement every day. As the name suggests, he's a chartered accountant, but the work he does alongside his spouse, he should be called committed achiever. To know more about him, and before he takes the center stage, let me invite our Vice Chairman of the chapter, CA Rajeshji Somani, to introduce the speaker to all of us. Give a round of applause to our Vice Chairman, Rajeshji Somani.
A very good morning to all of you. Good morning. Distinguished guest speakers, senior member of our professions, past chairmen, our ever energetic chairman Harikishan ji Rakawat, Jay Prakash, who keep the energy high of this chapter in all the functions, and my dear other committee members. Today we are blessed with the two distinguished speakers, and more important, both are part of our own profession. One has created a history in the financial market, and I was having a privilege to see the journey of Mr. Ramdev Agarwal and Motilal Oswal. And if we all can take the pride, today they are running one of the most active and efficient financial company in the country, employing more than 8,000 professionals and manpower. On other side, we have a distinguished career opted by Mr. Rajiv Agarwal, CA. the totally different field from the accounting, auditing, financing, and the business. I think it is like giving back to the society, giving back to the profession. And our profession should feel proud that we have such a member who are contributing to the noble cause of the society. Welcome, Rajivji. Rajivji belongs to Calcutta. He did his CA in 1986, and presently he is a founder of major NGO, Maja Gray Foundation, that is serving more than 200 children's, and there is an expansion program for mega dignity and empowerment of campus underway for serving 4,000 deserving orphan and street girls and destitute from the bottom of the suffering humanity. I think this kind of the contribution by our members deserve a big round of applause for Rajiv Agarwal. He, along with his wife, Meenakshi, has dedicated his life and saving. Giving time as well as money is a rare case of contributing to the society. In our own culture, we say that if you want to serve the society, tan, man, dhan. And when a person can contribute in all three fronts, I think is a rare career of any person who want to give back to the society. He is also an independent director, an ex-entrepreneur style CEO, philanthropist, business growth expert, advisor on one of psychology and personal and professional life. With excellent results, guest and faculty at IIM Udaipur, arbitrator of managing and growing, arbitrator at motivational speaker, leadership and productivity coach with 36 years of valuable and successful experience of managing and growing companies of miracles rates. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our privilege to listen Mr. Rajiv Agarwal. Please give him a big round of applause. Welcome, sir.
न त्वहं कामये राज्यं न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं कामये दुःखतप्तानां प्राणिनामार्ति नाशनम। मैं राज्य की कामना नहीं करता, मुझे स्वर्ग और मोक्ष नहीं चाहिए। दुख से पीड़ित प्राणियों के दुख दूर करने में सहायक हो सकूं, यही मेरी कामना है। विश्व प्रसिद्ध निवेशक और लोकोपकारक वॉरेन बफे ने कहा था, यदि आप मानव जाति के 1% सबसे भाग्यशाली व्यक्तियों में हैं, तो आपका ये पावन कर्तव्य है कि शेष 99% के बारे में आप विचार करें। पूरे भारत में लगभग 1.8 करोड़ बेघर, लाचार, लावारिस और अनाथ लोग हैं, जो सड़कों पर, रेलवे स्टेशन पर, बस स्टैंड और अन्य सार्वजनिक स्थलों पर बहुत ही कष्ट भरा जीवन बिताते हैं और एक कष्टप्रद मृत्यु को प्राप्त होते हैं। कईयों को तो उनके परिवार ने छोड़ दिया है और कई घर से भागे हुए हैं। इनमें से 90% किसी न किसी गंभीर बीमारी से और मानसिक रोग से भी ग्रस्त होते हैं। इनको एक घर देना और इनकी संपूर्ण देखभाल करना एक कठिन कार्य है, किंतु माजागर फाउंडेशन ने अपना घर आश्रम आंदोलन के साथ हाथ मिलाया है और ऐसे लोगों के जीवन में चिकित्सा, भोजन, वस्त्र, स्वच्छ आवास एवं संपूर्ण देखभाल करने का बीड़ा उठाया है और ये सब कुछ मुफ्त प्रदान किया जा रहा है। अपना घर आश्रम पुणे 18 से 100 वर्ष की आयु के बेघर, असहाय, प्रताड़ित, उत्पीड़ित, मानसिक और शारीरिक रूप से बीमार, घायल, रोगग्रस्त और बेसहारा लोगों को घर और खुशी दोनों देते हैं। सेवा ही जीवन है। इस धर्म को मानकर अपना घर आश्रम पूरे भारत में 54 आश्रम चलाता है और 22 साल से प्रेम, गरिमा और सम्मान के साथ ऐसे 11,000 लोगों की देखभाल कर रहा है। इस काम के लिए श्री राजीव अग्रवाल जी और उनकी धर्मपत्नी श्रीमती मीनाक्षी अग्रवाल जी ने अपना जीवन समर्पित कर दिया है और तन मन धन से इस कार्य में जुटे हुए हैं। इन पीड़ित लोगों को हम प्रभु जी के नाम से बुलाते हैं, द फॉर्म ऑफ गॉड।
हमारा नाम राजीव और मीनाक्षी अग्रवाल है। मैं 36 साल तक कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में था। उसके बाद हम लोगों ने जो अपना बचा हुआ जीवन है वो इस कॉज के लिए हमने समर्पित कर दिया है। हम लोग पहले से ही दूसरों के दुख से दुखी होने वाले आदमी हैं और हमेशा इच्छा थी कि दूसरों के लिए कुछ करें। फिर हमने डॉक्टर BM भारद्वाज का अपना घर का काम देखा और उसके बाद हमें इस काम को करने की प्रेरणा मिली। इस आश्रम में ऐसे ऐसे लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया गया है, महिला प्रभु जी को, जो बहुत दुख और दर्द में थे। उसमें हर तरह के लोग हैं जो घर से निकाले गए हैं और कई तरह के मानसिक और शारीरिक रोग से युक्त हैं। उन लोगों की सेवा करके और उनके चेहरे पर मुस्कान लौटता हुआ देख करके हमें बहुत आनंद हो रहा है।
यहाँ पर जितने प्रभु जी अभी हमारे साथ हैं, उनके साथ समय बिताना, उनका ध्यान रखना, उनके साथ प्यार बांटना हमें बहुत ही आनंद और सुकून दे रहा है और बदले में मुझे बहुत सारा प्यार भी उनसे मिल रहा है। तो सही शब्दों में बोलूं तो एक आनंद है जो इस काम को करने में, और आनंद दोनों तरफ से है। मुझे बहुत आनंद आ रहा है उनका टेक केयर करने में।
हमारे कर्मवीरों का एक समूह रास्ते पर प्रभुजनों को ढूंढने में कार्यरत रहता है। उन्हें ढूंढकर आश्रम में लाया जाता है। उनका वैद्यकीय जांच करने के बाद उनका आवश्यक उपचार किया जाता है। इनमें से कई लोग वर्षों से नहाए नहीं होते हैं। इनके शरीर में कीड़े पड़े होते हैं और अत्यंत दुर्दशा के शिकार होते हैं। इनके जीवन में काफी आघात, ट्रॉमा, निराशा, अकेलापन होता है और भोजन के अभाव में ये भयानक कुपोषण के भी शिकार होते हैं। किंतु कुछ दिनों के सेवा के बाद ही इनके चेहरे की रौनक वापस आने लगती है। हम उन प्रभु जी को उनके परिवारों के साथ फिर से मिलाने का प्रयास करते हैं, जहां हम उन्हें पुलिस या अन्य माध्यमों की मदद से ढूंढ पाते हैं और संबंधित परिवार उन्हें स्वीकार करने के लिए तैयार हैं। पुणे के मासागर फाउंडेशन में स्वच्छ एवं प्रशस्त रसोई घर है, जहां कर्मचारी स्वास्थ्यवर्धक भोजन प्रभु जी को पेश करते हैं। रसोई घर के साथ ही छत पर रचनात्मक गतिविधियां की जाती हैं। हर शनिवार और रविवार प्रमाणित मनोचिकित्सक तथा अन्य डॉक्टर प्रभु जी की देखभाल करने आते हैं। हर दिन अलग अलग गतिविधियां करने से प्रभु जी अपने जीवन की भयानक यादों से एक प्रकार से मुक्त हो पाते हैं। पुणे का मासागर फाउंडेशन अपने इस कार्य को बढ़ावा देने के लिए उत्सुक है। इस कार्य को आगे ले जाने के लिए हम 30 एकड़ जमीन खरीदकर 2000 बेसहारा और लाचार लोगों के लिए और 2000 अनाथ बच्चों के लिए अपना घर बनाना चाहते हैं, जिसमें अस्पताल और स्कूल भी होंगे। आपके लिए दुनिया की इस तरह की सबसे बड़ी परियोजना में भागीदार बनने का अवसर मासागर फाउंडेशन लेकर आया है। हमारे साथ संपर्क करने के लिए फोन या व्हाट्सएप करें 749-855-0554 989-061-0558। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःख भाग् भवेत्।
Good morning, Dubai. The highest in me bows to the highest in you. May today be the best day of your life. Today I am very excited, glad and grateful that I have a chance to speak amongst my own CA fraternity about a topic that is very close to my heart. Not only close to my heart, as all of you have seen, I am walking the talk. And I am going to discuss for next 2 minutes why social investment is important for India. You will see that it is as important as India compounding in the future. And social investment happens only when people listen to the calling of their soul. It doesn't happen when we listen to our mind. I'll give you 2 examples of biggest institutions in India, one in the area of destitute care and one in the area of orphans. Can I control or they will make the next slide, please? Okay, sure. It's not working. Oh, yeah. See why we need social investment. And you will see the people who create social investment are no less important than businessmen and industrialists or high executives who are sitting here. As we saw in Warren Buffett's statement, and I'm glad that I'm sitting here or addressing the people who are in the top 1% population of the world in terms of blessing of God. They are, as per many studies conducted, especially Tata Institute of Social Sciences, there are 2.89 crore, 28.9 million orphan and street children in India, 1.8 crore destitute in India. These almost 5 crore people, based on the experience of Apna Ghar Ashram of last 23 years, and 52 years of experience of Sindhu Tai Sapkal's orphanage, even if one person is brought back to the mainstream economic activity, at least to begin with, an incremental 2 lakh rupees per person who is brought into economic activity, whether that is an orphan or destitute, is added to the economy and GDP of India. And if 60% of these people are brought into the mainstream economic activity by social investment and by people who listen to their soul's calling, almost $1 trillion can be added to India's economy. And all stakeholders, whether it is government, businesses, or a tremendous wealth creator and top-notch, I would say, Wizard of Dalal Street, they all benefit. So I'm very grateful to ICAI Dubai, Chairman CA Sri Harikishan Rankawat ji, Vice Chairman CA Sri Rajesh Somani ji, Secretary CA Sri Jaiprakash Agrawal ji, Treasurer CA Sri Rishi Chawla ji, all executive committee members, past chairman. It's indeed a gratitude from my heart to all of you. So this is the rationale. And in next 2 minutes, I'll give you 2 examples, one from Pune, one from Bharatpur, Rajasthan. I'm a Marwadi from Rajasthan, born in West Bengal, lived in Bihar, worked in India, Indonesia and USA, with marquee companies like ITC and Hindustan Unilever. The biggest orphanage in India was created by Sindhu Tai Sapkal in Pune. Her short story. The story is long, but I'll cut it short. When she was 20 years old and 9 months pregnant, she was beaten up black and blue by her husband and father-in-law, and while she was bleeding, she had to leave her house. She took refuge in a cow shed where, buffaloes and cows are there. 3 years later, she gave birth to her daughter and used a brick lying there to cut the umbilical cord after delivery. She was 4th standard pass out, a school dropout, 52 years ago. She was 20 years old and she thought, where will I be safe? She thought of Samshan Bhumi, where, people when they depart in Hindu religion, they are burned. She took refuge there, and as per our tradition, when someone dies, earthen pot, मट्टी का घड़ा फोड़ा जाता है, उसमें पानी रहता है, एंड देन आटे का पिंड बनता है, वो उसको डिपार्टेड सोल को हम ऑफर करके शमशान घाट में छोड़ देते हैं. She used to use that आटे का पिंड, make rotis out of that जवारी. नॉर्थ इंडिया में गेहूं के आटे का पिंड होता है, महाराष्ट्र में जवारी के आटे का पिंड होता है, और उसको वो लाशों की आग पे सेकती थी, लाश पे सेकती थी. वो पानी यूज करके उसको खाती थी. And she used to feed also helpless and hungry children around her. And seeing the plight of these helpless and hungry children, she decided she will make an orphanage. To cut the long story short, she became mother to 25,000 children. Many of you run companies, have your own business, industrialists. The other example I want to give from my own ancestral land, and many of you also belong to Rajasthan. Dr. B.M. Bharadwaj, Apna Ghar Ashram, Bharatpur, Rajasthan. In the last 23 years, he has helped 54,000 destitute, rehabilitated 24,000 of them, conducted last rites with dignity for 13,000 of them. 24,000 people rehabilitated. 25,000 children came to the economic mainstream. Are they less important than any industrialist? An industrialist will employ people who have the requisite skills, training, education. They will give them jobs. But these people, whether Sindhu Tai Sapkal or Dr. B.M. Bharadwaj, शिल्पकार की तरह 20 साल तक, 25 साल तक इनको वो गढ़ते हैं. They make them employable, और उनको फिर मेन स्ट्रीम में, whether they place them in a job or help them be self-employed. जिसने 25,000 जॉब क्रिएट किए, और एक एवरेज इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट इन इंडिया क्रिएट्स 1,000 to 2,000 jobs. Are they less important? My question is. So these people who have done social investment, of course with the help, and all these people who gave their life or time, they were ordinary people, not businessmen, industrialists. Of course they were supported by businessmen, industrialists. So this is the rationale. So, getting inspiration from all these people, on 16th of October 2013, I and my wife Meenakshi, who is also here, we committed that once I am 58, I'll no longer work for money, no longer work for myself. And at the peak of my career, when I was the CEO of Nilon's group and I had 7 more years to go as CEO, I gave it all up. We dedicated our life, an entire life savings, with a proviso that I set aside a little bit of amount for my own retirement to these 2 causes. Another very important cause I will elaborate in next 2 minutes. So we are having 2 ashrams in Pune now, where we take care of people who can't even beg. जो beggars हैं उनको हम नहीं लेते, उनका काम तो कैसे भी चल रहा है ना. जिनके जो सालों से नहाए नहीं, शरीर में कीड़े पड़े हैं, मानसिक रोग है, HIV, कैंसर, लेप्रेसी, घर से निकाले गए हैं, सेरेब्रल पाल्सी है, पैरालाइज्ड हैं, living a very painful life on the streets of Maharashtra. We have people from all over India. उनको ला करके हम लोग उनके जीवन में एक डिग्निटी लाने की कोशिश करते हैं. We try to give dignity, love, and that is our differentiating factor. Sorry for the little mix-up on the top. So we say 4H: home, hope, health, and happiness. जिनके लाइफ से ये चारों चीजें गायब है, these people cannot pay you. They have nothing. So what we provide is a clean and comfortable shelter, all medicines, required surgeries, tasty and nutritious food, round the clock care. Many of them are actively suicidal. They are fed up with their own lives. So it's a very difficult task taking care of mentally sick and mentally challenged people. Rehabilitation is our main focus. In a short span of 1.5 years, we have rehabilitated 123 people, started their life all over again. And those who died, 28 people have died so far in the last 18 months, and we conduct their last rites also. So this is a thing which gives us a lot of happiness. I say, how many people get the purpose of their life? And we are one of the fortunate ones who have got the purpose of our lives. And this is the second. That was dignity, and this is empowerment. Empowerment for whom? For orphan and street girls of India. Why? These orphan girls and street girls are used and forced by begging syndicates, flesh trade, and bonded labor. They don't get education and are doomed for life. Their next generation also gets into the vicious circle. If India has to be compounded, India is to compound. And I've heard Ramdev ji many times on TV, and he's a firm believer that India will compound come what may. And this is one area. The developed and compounded India needs to pay attention. So these children, especially girls, are very vulnerable on the streets. They are exploited every day. They are sold to horrible places, and they need to be given education and an ecosystem, safe home, where they can become employable and stand on their own feet with respect in the mainstream society. And get them married also, because girls of age 20, 25 are not safe without a support system. So this is our second project, which will start very soon. We are finalizing a land between Pune and Bombay in an area called Kamshet, which is near Lonavala. So these girls will be provided a very clean, comfortable and safe home, education, training, skill building, all that is required to incorporate these girls into the mainstream society, and the multiplier effect on GDP will be tremendous. It's just simple math. And best of all, their next generation also will improve. They will also get education once these girls are well settled in life. I told you already that somehow, despite being a Marwadi, money stopped motivating me. And when I had 7 more years to go as a CEO, and I call myself, though it is not an official word, empathy quotient is not an official word, but I call myself in that category. And there was a strong urge to give back, and that is why, with the inspiration of God and Bhagwan Krishna, we ventured into this field. And we are having a time of our life. It is giving us a huge kick. So, this place in Kamshet, fortunately, it has a built-up space of 2 lakh square feet already. So, first phase of 1,000 children can start immediately. For us, all our chartered accountants, the value for us, the value is different for same thing for different people. 200,000 square feet, the construction cost is more than 50 crore, and the land is valued at 50 crores. So, 100 crore property we are getting for 45 crore, and 25.9 crore is already raised. So this is the plan, and we hope, Bhagwan Krishna willing, this will become a reality very soon. See, many people, including me, I also delayed my joining this sector. Many people believe that ये हो जाएगा तब हम कुछ करेंगे. बच्चों की शादी हो गई, सेटल हो गए सब, उसके बाद मैं ये करूंगा. Unfortunately, कई केसेस में बहुत देर हो जाती है. There are people in Bombay and Delhi, I know, and some of them you may know, जिन्होंने पब्लिकली या प्राइवेटली कहा कि मेरे नेटवर्थ का 10%, 20% मैं चैरिटी में देने वाला हूं. They waited too long. परमानेंट रहने हम यहां कोई नहीं आए. उनकी डेथ हो गई और उनका 35,000 करोड़ 45,000 करोड़ का नेटवर्थ यहीं रह गया, साथ में नहीं गया. तो जो हम में से यहां पे मानते हैं अपने शास्त्रों को, वेद उपनिषद को, वी बिलीव इन द लॉ ऑफ कर्मा एंड ऑल्सो रीबर्थ. मैं भी उनमें से एक हूं. अगर आज अंबानी साहब को यूनिवर्स कंस्पायर कर रहा है उनको वेल्दी, हेल्दी एंड प्रॉस्परस बनाने में, तो हिंदू धर्म में फिर मिलेगा का सिद्धांत है. कितने लोगों का भला किया होगा उन्होंने लास्ट लाइफ में, एंड ऑल दीज पीपल आर मीटिंग देम अगेन इन दिस लाइफ and helping them to become the wealthiest person of India. So फिर मिलेगा सिद्धांत अटल है. जिनका आप भला करोगे वो लेगेसी आपके इस लाइफ में भी रहेगी, and it will go to your next life also. And these well-intentioned people should have thought कहीं देर ना हो जाए, और देर हो गई और वो इस दुनिया से चले गए अपने इंटेंशन को इंप्लीमेंट किए बिना. ऑल ऑफ यू आर वेरी सक्सेसफुल पीपल, टॉप एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, बिजनेसमैन, इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, और इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का घर इंडस्ट्रीज का बिजनेस आप चलाते हो. Please add the word philanthropist to your name. Be the son and daughters of these destitute. Be the parents of these girls and make them stand on their own feet. Break the shackles in their life from the slavery, bonded labor, begging syndicate, and flesh trade. And I'll end by saying, you are again the top 1% people in the world. If not you, who? If not now, when? I again take a bow for listening to me patiently, and I'm ready to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
If you wish to do something, do it today. You never know what is in future lying there. What a thought. Thank you, sir, Rajiv ji, for those words of wisdom, and what you do is really great. I can only say after seeing your presentation that what Ajim Premji once said, the former chairman of Wipro, he said, you cannot mandate philanthropy. It has to come from within, and when it does, it is deeply satisfying. And Rajiv ji, we can see the satisfaction on your face. The smile which you carry says that you have achieved it. We'll request chairman, vice chairman to come on the stage along with Suren ji, since past chairman is here. We'll request Suren Saab to come on the stage along with Umen Chaturvedi is there. Umen sir, please come on the stage to felicitate the speaker with love of token and love. Give a round of applause to Rajiv ji for what he's doing. And if I take credit, can I invite भाभी जी, आपको बुलाना है सर. मीनाक्षी जी, आपके बिना होता नहीं ये काम. वाइफ नहीं सपोर्ट करती है तो वैसे भी कुछ नहीं होता. प्लीज जॉइन अस ऑन द स्टेज टू गेट दिस अवार्ड.
राजीव जी, आपने ये बहुत ही बढ़िया इनिशिएटिव जो लिया है, और डेफिनेटली विल ट्राई टू कंट्रीब्यूट फ्रॉम आवर साइड. लाइफ में आदमी 2 बार जन्म लेता है. एक तो जब वास्तव में जन्म लेता है, और एक बार मरने के बाद में. अगर ऐसे कॉज किए हुए हैं तो आप जीवित रहते हैं मरने के बाद में भी. तो प्लीज़ कंट्रीब्यूट एज मच एज पॉसिबल, एज वी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट 1% ऑफ द टोटल पॉपुलेशन who can serve the community and save these children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hari Bhai. Please connect with Rajiv ji if required. Rajiv ji, you said one thing. She's the soul who is behind this. Sir, सबकी wife सबकी souls है. Otherwise वो आज Saturday को यहाँ नहीं बैठ सकते थे. They are sitting just because their wife permitted them, and that's why they are sitting here. Okay, moving on. India is a growing economy, and we have already seen the power of compounding. Now think, when a 3.75 trillion economy is compounding, what will be the mammoth amount we are talking about here? Hearing this, eyes glitters, smile widens, and chest pumps up. Yes, that's the Indian soul within us which makes us do that. But good to see that now world believes in us, believes in India's growth story. From assuming G20 presidency to being first country to reach dark side of the moon, we are on world map. We are visible to the rest of the world. Message is clear and loud. Platform is led, and India is all set to compound. Now, if India is set to compound, it's time to know where to invest right and then sit tight. Who better can tell us where to invest than the person who gave us this slogan, invest right and sit tight, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. To know more about Mr. Ramdev Agarwal, clap कर सकते हैं सर, आपने सब clap कर सकते हैं. He has given time to travel to Dubai and address us. Now, after an hour, I can see a smile on his face. He was a little tired, I think, because of the travel, but lovely to see a smile on your face, sir. Thank you for this. And I will invite our treasurer, Sri Chawla, on the stage to introduce Mr. Ramdev Agarwal to all of us. You don't need an introduction, but it's our responsibility to introduce you. A round of applause for Rishi Chawla.
Thank you, Secretary Saab, first of all, for this opportunity. And thank you, Rajiv ji, such an inspiring, I think, motivation for the morning. Definitely, it is making me personally feel to just go and hug you later on and say, what can I do? Thank you so much. Dear members, chairman, distinguished speakers of the day and panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. Thank you for your presence here today. What an interesting topic for today. We all know growth story of India. We always hear about it. Do you know IMF projected the world economic growth for 2023 as 2.8%, which is increased to 3% in 2024. The point to note in this is, of all the countries, all the growing countries, I would say, India's projected growth by IMF is 6.3%, the highest of all the economies. So all eyes are on India. And what to note, a point to note which I found very interesting is, they first projected 6.1% and they raised it to 6.3%. So this is how we are compounding, and definitely a lot of things comes from the unicorns who are really going big. And we have a very distinguished speaker with us today who's going to share this story with us. And he's going to talk on the topic, India compounded past, compounded future, growth story. Though there is a lot to share about him, but let me share some of his major achievements. He is chairman and co-founder of the Motilal Oswal Group, which was founded in 1987. His straight and simple philosophy of buy right, sit tight helped him frame policy of quality growth, longevity, and favorable price for the group. He is the brain behind Motilal Oswal Wealth Creation Study since its inception in 1996. He has also been featured on Visits of Dalal Street on CNBC TV 18. He has completed 27 years of realizing wealth creation studies in 2022. His studies are the most awaited research papers in India. Mr. Ramdev has been awarded the Rashtriya Samman Patra by Central Board of Direct Taxes for a consistent track record of the highest integrity. Mr. Ramdev, yes, you can clap. We have a very distinguished speaker with us today. This is our chance. Mr. Ramdev was awarded as Chhattisgarh Citizen of the Year in 2018 at the Chhattisgarh Excellence Awards from the hands of the Honorable Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Dr. Raman Singh. Something that really stands out, his attitude of sharing knowledge by way of publishing books such as Corporate Numbers Group Game, along with Ram Arcade Piparia, and The Art of Wealth Creation. Ladies and gentlemen, without taking much time between you and the distinguished speakers we have here today, please join me with a big round of applause to welcome you on the stage, please, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal ji. Sir, as you walk to the stage, my question to you is, how can we find the stocks in your portfolio?
Good morning, friends. It's a pleasure to be amongst all of you. I think very humbling start Amazing thing to hear. Rajiv is a very forceful speaker, and the subject is even more forceful. So thank you very much for your thoughts here. And amazing thing. I mean, I think what touched me is that you got a purpose of your life. You know, I keep thinking many times, what is the purpose? I mean, one of the things is, as a Marwari or as a chartered accountant, we wanted to make money. I mean, and we did make money, and we are making money. We'll make money. The issue is, what is the purpose of life? So I think you got that. Thanks, congratulations. You know, and I wish everybody gets their purpose of life and get on to it. So today, coming back to today's session about India growth story, and we started talking about India's story sometime in 2007 when India hit first $1 trillion in 2007 when rupee was about 45 and it became 43 briefly, and India's GDP was about 45 lakh crores. So that year, India hit the $1 trillion GDP. And since then, I have been writing this paper. Yeah, sorry. How does it work? Okay. Can we move? Okay, yeah. So, got it. Yeah, can you hear me clearly? Is it better? Okay. So we wanted to, in last year, in one of our, India's the most celebrated institutional conference, I was asked to speak, and we said, what do we speak? So India has achieved 75 years of independence, and how has been the story of India, and what's it likely to be? You know, so how do you figure it out? So the best way to figure out the future is by looking at the past, and that's what we did. I'm not a macro economist, and I have no view. I mean, I'm not predicting anything about the future, and that too, future of macroeconomy is very dangerous. So I'm not getting into predictions, but we have just put the data, what has happened in the last 25 years, and how it could look in the future if the same trend continues. So let's start. So compounding, compounding is one thing which is the eighth wonder. It is said that it is the eighth wonder of the world. What happens is, I mean, in our profession, everything is a CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. But very few understand power of compounding, how exactly it works. It is interest on interest, but the matter is so simple and so short that even in Google, if you search, there is not much. And no professor likes to teach in the college because, I mean, you can't call it professor of compounding. But actually, compounding is heart of everything. Compounding is heart of the universe. Continuously it is compounding. So compounding is rule of 72. 72 divided by percentage gives the number of years in which double, and 72 divided by percentage gives the number of years in which double, or other way around. So that's how you can see the future. And understanding both the power of compounding and difficulty of getting it is the heart and soul of understanding a lot of things. It is, you can say, at 25%, something will become 10x in 10 years. In 20 years, it will become 100x. In 30 years, it will become 1000x. Saying that is one thing, but what it will take to go from 1 to 100, 1 to 1000, 1 to million. That is the key, and that's where the focus should be. When it comes to compounding, don't trust your intuition. You have no idea how powerful it is. Compounding is not intuitive. Long-term compounding needs imagination. You have to imagine. I mean, you cannot go, any country, whether it is Singapore, whether it is Dubai, you just look at Dubai, what it was right in front of your own eyes. In fact, I picked up last time, the biography of Dubai, and it is so fascinating a reading what they did and how they could achieve what they've achieved, and today it's a marvel for the entire region and probably entire world. So that's somebody's imagination which is all getting fructified. So Mr. Buffett, His wealth was just about $1 lakh at the age of 15. He started investing at the age of 11. Currently, at 93, the figure is about 100 billion. Actually, he has earned about 250 billion if he had not donated half of it or a little more than that. So he sits on 120, 130 billion. But the thing is that he has multiplied by 1,000,000 times in last 78 years. Can anybody do the compounding at what rate he might have multiplied? In your everybody's phone, there's a calculator. You can do that. It's about 20%. It's not much. It's just about 20%, but full 78 years. That's the power of compounding. 1,000,000 times you can do. And this guy, he is going to live for next 15, 20 years or maybe 25 years. He'll be the first guy who will be a trillionaire from zero in one lifetime. No legacy, nothing. If you read his biography, Snowball, you'll realize, I used to think that I have come up hard way. When you read about him, then you figure out to go to $10,000, what kind of hard work he did. So he truly started from zero, and today he's icon, he's the richest man, and probably he will die one of the biggest wealth creator. And probably after his death also, his empire will keep creating, many trillions of dollars of wealth. So that's the power of compounding. So this happens, and this context is how India has shaped up in last 75 years and how it is going to shape up in next 25 years. So prediction is dangerous, especially about the future. So we have to be very careful what we are talking about. So the data is there for last about 25 years in the digital space, which we can, 75-year data are very scanty. So we have looked at 25 years. Now, first we have to figure out how big is the world. The world is about $100 trillion GDP right now, because everything functions within larger universe. And larger universe of income or economic activity in the world is about $100 trillion right now. The world has grown about 5% compounded. See, we are talking nominal dollar GDP. We are not talking about inflation, real. I'm not getting into that. I'm saying in dollar terms, world has grown at 5% compounded in last 25 years. So it started at 32 trillion 97, and today it is about $100 trillion. So that's very important thing for Dubai to happen, for India to happen, for China to happen. If China has gone from a trillion to today 17, 18 trillion, it has happened because world has gone from 32 to 100. So this is how it has happened. India has grown about 9% dollar. This is a fact very few people know, that India has in last 25 years grown at the rate of 9% dollar GDP growth rate in last 25 years. And that is what has made us to become about 3.5%, 3.4% of global GDP. In 97, we were just about 1.3%. Slowly but surely, we have been climbing. And that's how India has become this is slightly dated. If you do it for 2023, it is about 3.75 now. And we would be about not 3.4, but 3.5% of the global GDP. So importance of India in the global economic activity is growing every day. So what has China done? India has grown at 9%. China has grown at about 13% for last 25 years. That 4% has made all the difference today where China is and where India is. So, and the math says that their currency didn't devalue. They also grew at about 12-13% nominal in local currency. We also grew at 12. Every year we grow at about 12%. But we lose 3% every year in rupee-dollar translation. They started in last 25 years back, their currency got stabilized. And that's why their nominal GDP of 12% translated into 12% dollar GDP, and they started becoming what they have become. So this is what could happen. I'm not saying it will happen. India rupee and dollar parity. There is some report by Nilkant Mishra of CSFB, Axis Capital now, that in 2 years' time, if everything goes fine, probably India could achieve current account parity. And that is where I think the magic of stabilization of currency will happen. I'm quite sure that 3% decline is definitely going to come down to 1, maybe 2%, but definitely it is not going to be as high as it was in the past. So you all know what are the India advantages, a democracy, one nation idea, a unified market, one PAN number, one GST, one Aadhaar, one ration card, one mobile number, one bank account. Everything is becoming extremely unified in India. Then you have demography. It is the youngest population in the world. It is not only largest, but it is the youngest also. And 22% of the incremental global workforce over the next three decades will come from India. So you see what is happening is the services exports from India is silently growing at a very rapid pace. And it has become far bigger than merchandise exports. Last year, our merchandise exports was $430 billion, but our services export were about $345 billion. Now, services exports is 100% value add, whereas the merchandise exports is hardly 30% value add. So the gap, I would say the value added basis, the services export is almost 3x of the merchandise exports. So the natural rhythm for India is to do services exports, and with this kind of demographics, I think India will be all over the world in terms of services. And you see the cities like Hyderabad, your Noida, Chennai, Bangalore, they're all bursting in terms of the new construction which is happening. I think we are doing about 70 million square foot of the new commercial spaces to support all the global offices. And I think the most interesting story is the digitization, which is where India is right now. India's global reputation on the back of software exports, and the story which started in 95 at about less than $1 billion to about $5-6 billion by 2000, and then now it has become more like $225 billion of pure software exports from India, and the whole world, like for manufactured goods, where we rely on China. I think for software build-up all over the world, most complex and most scaled-up software. In fact, I was in New York and I was asking a few investors came and they said, sir, for recruiting the top end, absolutely state-of-the-art AI skills, we don't look at New York, we look at Bangalore. Because in Bangalore, not only you get it at much more economical price, but because the complexity, the size of the India challenge, like whether running NSA, running your Aadhaar card, PAN card, all these things are running into billions and millions. And hence the kind of AI capability you need is all available in India. So the kind of capability we are building up in digital processes, it is going to become even deeper. Forex reserve, this is one thing which no country can print itself. I mean, this is one thing which brings people, the countries on their knees. When you don't have Forex, you have to go with begging ball. And that's what happened in 92. And since then, the reforms which India has gone through and the capital they built, now it is about at $585 billion as of last week. And if that by chance the current account parity happens, then we are, I mean, now JP Morgan bond index inclusion is happening, Bloomberg bond index. So a lot of things are happening for India, which is going to build the reserve even faster. State government, stable government is in place. I think this has been the biggest change after 30 years in India, that we have a very well-mandated majority running government. And I think the first 10 years has been kind of stabilizing, but now you are going to see the real effect of the stable governance of the country. And changing, see, one of the things which my sense is economically, the two big things happen in India. One is in 92, the liberation by delicensing and scrapping of all the quota system by Manmohan Singh and all. Second is, which happened at the COVID time. There is a changing landscape of retail participation in the stock market. What happened? So this is a hockey stick we hear in the in the textbooks, but this is what really is going through, India is going through right now. What happened was that the SEBI and all the regulatory authorities, they made market very safe. But the entry into the market became difficult because of KYC processes. They became very cumbersome, and the number of people who were joining the market were just about 4 lakhs till about 2020. 4 lakhs per month, less than 4 lakhs. Come COVID, and there is a digital onboarding allowed, and we have digital infrastructure. It has started becoming 40 lakhs per month, 4 million. And in last 3 years, the number of demat accounts from 40 million, it has already touched 127 million, or maybe 130 million as we are talking. So this particular thing is the biggest revolution. And what it does, see, what is the concept of joint stock company? We know that. Any risk has to be shared by more people than the entrepreneur. And the beauty of that concept is that the liability is limited. The risk is shared by multiple people, but if there is a loss, the loss is limited to whatever has been the subscription. But the same risk, if it is distributed among millions of people, then it becomes even more powerful. And that is what is happening. The entire entrepreneurial risk is being shared by now not 40 million people, but 130 million people, and it is going to become maybe 250 million, 500 million in next 5 to 10 years. And at the rate of 2 million people per month, this 125 million is going to become 250 million in next 4 to 5 years. And if the market performance is good, what happens is the moment the return goes up to 14-15%, more and more people join the crowd. So what is happening is that we are getting about 2 million, right now we're getting 3 million customers per month, but even if you take an average of 2 million over a period of time, we are looking at anything between 250 to 300 million people in next 5-6 years. So we don't have to worry in the market about the domestic inflow of money into the primary market or in the capital market. And this is the main source. FIs have been completely unnerved in last 3 years. Whenever they come to sell, they can't break the market. They're like an ironclad. The entire domestic is facing the flow of sale from the FI side. So, and this journey could continue for next 10 years. And with a larger number of people with larger income. So this journey is going to be extremely exciting, and this is what is going to give the entrepreneurship in India for the first time is at a premium. Anybody who is hardworking, honest, and has an idea has no dearth of money. At starting stage, at growth stage, at pre-growth stage, pre-listing stage, and at the listing you are seeing what is happening. So every company, and this is just about 2 years that it is happening. Just see the impact of this in next 4 to 5 years. My sense is, if IMF or any economist is predicting 6%, actually in 12 months' time, it will be 7 or 7.5% GDP growth rate. So this is what is going to happen, and this is what we are riding right now. Now, you see, what is the impact? Impact of this thing is the average daily turnover in the stock market. I started my career in 87. I was a mad fellow to be in the stock market at that point of time. As a chartered accountant, nobody was going to the stock market. We were among the first 2-3 people to venture into the stock market in 87. The turnover was 200 crores. There were 500 brokers, and the settlement system was T+15, and it used to be settled in T+21. Today it is T+1, dematted trading, dematted settlement, T+1. Guess what is the turnover today? 200 lakh crores per day. 200 lakh crores per day. And this is, the sad part is, even a lot of policymakers don't know this number, and they are making policies. Anywhere I go, most of the guys, they have no idea how big a settlement you are. On every Wednesday, Thursday, we are doing 560 lakh crores nominal value T+1 settlement. And now, the ambition of SEBI is to do the settlement in T+0 or T+3 hours. It is unheard of what we are attempting. So, this is a very exciting time, and this is making the sustained boom in secondary market is making the entire valuation. Market cap to GDP is the broadest valuation anywhere in the world. US is at about 2 times, 1.8, 1.9 times. We are at about 1.1 times. When I started my career, it was about 10-11% to the total GDP. If GDP was 45 lakh crores, market cap used to be 4 lakh crores. Today, my GDP is 300 lakh crores and my market cap is 330 lakh crores as of yesterday. So we are at 1.1 times, and this is what really scares me. That if the markets are expensive, funny things happen. And what can happen is that maybe FIs might, from 20%, they might come down to 15%. They will sell. Second, our promoters can sell. There are 2 guys, there are only 3 blocks, FI, DI, and promoters. So FIs DIs will continuously buy. I can see for next 10 years, I mean, literally, if there is a good idea, there is no dearth of money. There is no dearth of money in India in terms of pouring in. Then there are only two other blocks, that is promoters and FIs. And incidentally, they are 70%. 50% are promoter and 20% are FI. So only 30% is buying in and 70% can probably sell. So let's see what really happens. But markets are one of the most expensive markets in the world. So primary market activity, where you raise money for the promoters and you sell their stuff, raise money for the companies, and that is at a record high. Almost 5 lakh crores per year, which is kind of a record, and let's see how it progresses as we go forward. After Japan, India is the most expensive market. Japan is at 26 times, we are at 22, 23 times. So we have to be aware that we are buying into the most expensive market, and we don't deserve to be most expensive. So I think national forces will take care of that. And what will happen is that when you enter the market, you have to be extremely smart to buy and manage the money. Otherwise, your returns are going to be subdued, in the sense that the long-term return has been 12 to 14%. But to get even that 12 to 14% across your portfolio, you have to be very, very careful. And because you are buying into a little more expensive space, quite possible, over a period of time, it become even more expensive, because the market cap to GDP, which is at 1.1, has a potential to go to 2 or 3 also, if we economically do well. Now, how well this influx of money into the corporate sector will change the economic profile of India, that only time will tell. So corporate earnings growth is going to be the key determinant of your return. If corporate earnings growth is about 15 to 20%, 25%, I don't see the P multiple coming down in India. So if you buy at 20 multiple and your earnings growth for the entire corporate sector is more like 20% or 25%, quite possible, despite your buying expensive market, you might end up making 20% return across your portfolio if you remain very patient. So India, let's imagine the next 25 years what can happen now. So India today is at about 3.4% of the global GDP. Next 25 years, 10% growth. We could be at $35, $37 trillion kind of thing. The world, so world should be and must be, 100 must go to 339. If 100 remains for some reason at 100, we have no hope in hell to climb like this. Maybe it will be 1 or 2%. If the world remains at 100. So world has to move from 100 to 339, and there is no reason why it will not happen. It has been happening for last so many years. I mean, you need, I don't know what kind of disruption, but still, I think it will happen. So India's share of GDP, which is 3.4% now, is likely to climb up to as high as 10 to 12%. And this changing landscape is extremely important to feel the weight, because for every economy to be felt all over the world, the size of the profit, size of the corporates, size of the military spend, size of the tourism, everything has to be matching with that. And that can come only if your percentage to the GDP, to the global GDP, is high. Now, this is what is going to be the ranking for the world. US undisputed number 1, China undisputed number 2 by 2047. But 3 and 4 are very wide open. And I think by the pace at which they are going, I think in 3 to 4 years' time, India will be number 3 country in the world, without any doubt. Without any doubt. This is happening. So we'll be at about third position by 27 or 28, and by 47, I mean, I don't have any doubt that it's like 99.999% that India will be by far very large, third largest economy in the world. Now, look at it. In the stock market, of course, the heaven is US. So you can do maybe 2/3 of allocation or 70% of the allocation. Where else you go after that for your next 30%? Even for Americans, forget about us. Even for Americans, where do you go? India will be the very clearly second best choice. Though they are, for some reason, they are shying away. They don't want to allocate. We are already 3.5%, 4% of the world. But in global allocation, we are less than 1%. So they have to come. When they will come, maybe Modi ji comes back in May, then they come. So they are hesitant because they're saying, okay, China is available at 10p, Israel is available at 10p, these countries are, why they are available at 10p for right reasons. We are at 20p for right reasons. The opportunity is like that. We are under participated by the locals. Now the bridge is open. You know, the money is flowing in. If you don't buy, somebody else will buy. So I think they need to get to the thing that India will be expensive. You have to participate because now there is a passivity. In the world allocations, they can sell only that much because a lot of allocations are passive. As my market cap to GDP, my market cap ranking goes up from say 4 trillion to 8 trillion or 10 trillion. And I become 10% of the global market cap ranking. They don't have an option to allocate 0.5%. Otherwise, in the boardroom, fund managers will be fired. Why the hell you are underperforming, being not in India? Who's told you to be underweight in India? So I think there will be a lot of force to allocate fully to India. So it is a matter of time. So when you buy Indian equity, you are buying for 12%. When you're buying Indian equity, you're buying for 12%. But you are getting one invisible option. You might make 18 to 20%. And that option comes to you only if you remain allocated in India. Otherwise, that option doesn't come to you. So there is a good chance you might make 15, 17, 20%, but only if you remain allocated in India. So it's a very interesting time to be part of Indian journey. And of course, this audience doesn't need to be taught about India, but great thing is that you have option to go anywhere in the world. You can buy the best. You deserve to buy the best. We are the people who are stuck in India and kind of, we are stuck for the I would say, now we are feeling very lucky that we are stuck there. But I have to invest here only in India. You guys have a chance, but I would urge that look at India's story in a compelling way and have a long-term allocation, disproportionate long-term allocation, not only for your personal wealth. Chartered accountants are blessed to not only take care of their own allocations, but also allocations multiple times bigger for their employers or the bosses. So impress upon them that they must look at this opportunity, not for the national interest, for your boss's interest, that this is once in a lifetime opportunity. See, countries rise once in a while. It doesn't happen every day. The rise of India is like rise of China in last 20 years. It's once in a lifetime event. You can't repeat what has happened in China of the scale and the size and the pace at which it happened. Unfortunately, the stock market system was not matured. Imagine, even if it is 60-70% of what China did in the last 20 years, if India does that 7% GDP for next 15-20 years, you cannot imagine how much money we are all going to make in Indian stock market. It's going to be tons of. India already is the biggest market where multi-baggers are produced. I mean, rags to riches story from 1,000 crores to 1 lakh. Look at, I mean, even the larger companies like HDFC Bank, Infosys. I mean, HDFC Bank is up like 6,000 times, 8,000 times. And we have seen so many companies 100 times in my own portfolio, which I have not done that well because I take care of the corporate. So there is massive opportunity and chartered accountants are blessed to take this advantage because they have this double engine mind to take care of their own allocation, which they don't do very well, let me tell you. They are cursed to take care of the boss's money, but not their own money. So please take care of your money and do a good allocation. And there is a chance that if we have to rise up to China, you know, what is possibility? That we could be somewhere in the reckoning. If China slows down and we accelerate, there is a good chance in next 20-25 years, we can never catch them up, but we can be in a very respectable situation. Behind every military, there is an economy. You cannot fight a military of 18 trillion with 3 trillion. No way. So if you want to stand up, this is making a huge policy, policy changes in Delhi in thinking in terms of rapid growth of economy. Because if you want to take up anywhere, I mean, if you want to stand up, forget about actual, conflict, but if you want to even mentally think about something, you have to have economy backing you up. So this is what is the thinking about what could happen as you go forward. So India will zoom from poverty to prosperity, and this is where the policymakers have to make the changes. And India is the ultimate next $1 trillion opportunity. The story behind India is that it took 60 years to hit the first trillion, another 7 years to hit the second trillion, another 7 years thanks to COVID, the third trillion. But fourth and fifth are going to come very quickly. It is going to come in every 3 years. What we did in 75 years, we are going to do in next 7 years. You can imagine how the discretionary spend will build. What happens is when the next $1 trillion hits, your discretionary spend, when you are at $1,000 per capita, your basics are 900 and your discretionary is only 100. When you go to 2000, your basics remain 1000, but discretionary go to from 100 to 1000. So what is the doubling of GDP is 10x for discretionary build-up. And this is happening every day in India. When BMW opened the shop, they said, we think in next 3 years we'll sell 5,000 cars. When they opened the doors, very first day got 15,000 subscriptions. So entrepreneurs themselves are underestimating the power of the next $1 trillion opportunity. The pace at which the exponentiality is building up. Now, hold your breath. This is for you all. You know, in last 25 years, the total savings of the economy, household, government, individuals, all put together, is about $10 to $12 trillion. Actually translated and counted. If we just keep at that 30% compounded, I don't know, most likely it is going to go to 34, 35, but I'm not in that prediction mode. I'm just saying the way it has continued for 25 years, if it continues for next 25 years, we will save minimum $100 to $120 trillion. And it is happening, coming every day into the coffers. So this year, we are, in 2025, we will do about $1.2 trillion of savings within the economy. And at the terminal year, it will be more like $10 to $12 trillion. So this is the deluge through this participation. One is the demat accounts or the retail participating into the market. And second, every retail guy is having bigger pool of savings which are coming to the market. So the kind of tsunami which is coming into the market, this slide excites me every day morning when markets are down. I see this slide. I said, boss, day after is going to be very good. Because the size of the savings which are coming in is not funny. This is going to be seriously large, and Indians in any case, they don't know how to spend. So all the money is going to come to the stock market. So all kinds of predictions are there. Risk is, people ask me about what can go wrong. Yesterday evening also this came up, what can go wrong? I think whatever can go wrong, nobody knows what can go wrong seriously. And that is, not knowing what can go wrong is the biggest risk. But the big risk is not being in the market. Because yes, things will go wrong, and it will get corrected. But if you're not in the market, that is the biggest risk you're running to your portfolio. Because you can keep waiting, but if you don't buy that option coupon, what I told you, which maybe worth nothing, but if by chance that turns out to be right, then you are missing out on a serious amount of wealth creating possibility. So what does it need to make money in the stock market? You need only 3 things: vision, courage, and patience. So vision, I think everybody sitting here, they have the vision. That's why they are here. They are so successful. So everybody has vision, and all kinds of gurus are coming and giving you knowledge about what can happen and what will happen. The real thing is the courage. And then after buying, the most difficult thing is to have patience. And patience is tested in bad time, not in good time. If the time is good for 5 years and you are in the market, that is not patience. When time is bad for 2 years, markets are down 30%, do you have faith in Indian equities? That's what is the real patience. And I have had patience for the last 40 years. And I have been rewarded much, way beyond my imagination to be patient investor in Indian stock market. So, conclusion, compounding is not intuitive. India has a solid compounded past. It has some solid compounded future. India's next $1 trillion story is real. It is happening every day. And so my suggestion is, don't bet against India. In fact, bet on India. Thank you very much.
Lovely, sir. Bet on India. One thing which I can tell you, last month, Piyush Ji Goyal was here, and he also said something. And today when Ram Ji said, I can relate to it. Piyush Ji said 30 by 30 by 30. He said India's average is nowadays is less than 30 years. In next 30 years, Indian economy will add 30 trillion. And today Ramdev ji has added the same voice saying we'll be third with 36 trillion as an economy. If two good people, two smart people are saying the same thing, brother, this is the time to invest in India. Give a round of applause to Ramdev ji Agarwal and for India to become a 30 trillion in next 30 years. I will request Chairman, our Treasurer Rishi Chawla, our past President Nimish Makwana, Raju sir is here. Raju sir, please join us to give a love of token appreciation to Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. हाँ तालियां बजती रहनी चाहिए सर, ये अच्छी चीज़ है. Can I request all the speakers and panelists to join us on the stage for a group photo? All the speakers, Rajiv ji, sir, Akhil saab, panelists, sir, please, Ajay ji, please join us, and the ExCom members, all the ExCom members for a group picture. दिल से आवाज आती है तो होता है. It's time to move on. We have completed 6 months of this current committee and it's time for the progress report. We always say progress report is required for the managing committee because that is the report which helps us to understand whether we are going in the right direction or not. So here is it, what we have done in 6 months, what we have seen as committee, as members, as ICI Dubai chapter will tell you why it's required. If we are lacking somewhere, if we have missed something, it's the right opportunity to come and tell us what exactly we have done. So this is the project progress report for 23-24 for 6 months. Let's see what exactly we have done so far. What we have done is we have done 10 events. The 10 events are, first we started with bridging the gap, health and wealth. Then we moved on to code of ethics, professional conduct, very important as a chartered accountant, ethics. We did that. Then the third event was tax talk on corporate tax. Corporate tax is reality. We did that in the first quarter. Everything happened in first quarter. Emerging standards of auditing. We discussed on auditing. Auditing is always something where a chartered accountant can relate to. Then again, corporate tax we did because corporate tax is the new thing. This was 6 events and then we followed up with real estate investments. Today we are doing investments on mutual funds, India market. That time we did on real estate summits, investments where you can do it. We also did something on accounting, that is how to do tax accounting and sustainability. Moving on, we also did impact again on corporate tax for the free zones because free zones is a gray area. So we did it for the members. And finally, we did something in the last month, which was bits to billions. Overall, what we have done is we have done 4 sessions on corporate tax. 1 session we did on ethics. 1 session we did on auditing. 1 we did on accounting. 1 we did on health and wellness. 1 we did on investments, and the last one we did on entrepreneurship. In total, if you see 4 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2, 10 sessions have been done, 10 events have been done so far in the 6 months. This was not all. What we did this time, if you have seen, we have done 4 workshops, and the workshops happened for 4 different topics, including Power BI, including subject SMEs, small medium enterprises, compliance and the regulations, and 2 sessions on corporate tax. 14 days of learning. 5 days was for corporate tax, 2 days each for SME and Power BI. I'm only talking till September. We have done something in October as well. We'll cover it in next quarter. So overall, 4 workshops, 14 days where we have done learnings as a master classes. This was not all. We also did 4 focus group events, where small events, dedicated discussions on a dedicated topic happened. And these are the 4 sessions. One was on transfer pricing. Second one was Article 134 of corporate tax. Third was on transition rules. These are very specific, very detail oriented. Small groups attends, roughly around 30-40 members will attend it. This is something which we did 4 workshops. Overall, if you see what we have done so far is 10 main events, 14 days of master class, 4 focus group in last 6 months. Overall, one member could have, if they have attended all these things, they would have collected 120 CP hours per member. That is average 20 hours you could have attended if you have attended per month from the chapter. That is what we have done. 1,646 unique members have attended these classes or attended these sessions, which is 60% of the strength. So if we are 100 people, 60 members are taking the benefit of the chapter. 1,646 is the unique member which we have achieved. Number of CP hours which we have booked as Dubai chapter, this is phenomenal. 35,000 hours has been given as CP hours to all the members of the chapter. You have attended these events and we have already clocked with ICI India. Does only sessions helps? No. What we do is we also work, play, do social gatherings. How do we do it? We have already done in first quarter cricket and badminton, where more than 500 participants or members participated and we gave away 100 awards. That is what we did in Sports Mania. We did not do anything on the sports in this quarter. Last quarter we could not do it. We are planning to do something in the next quarter, which is something around table tennis and chess, you will see. How about social? Your family is our family. It's not only you, we also extend to your family. What we did for your family, we did Onam celebration attended by 900 participants having a sitting food as Onam Sandhya. First time in the chapter of ICI in 41 years, 900 people sitting and having Onam Sandhya. That was for your family, because not only you are important, your family is important. We also did one more event jointly, which is called Sahir Ludhianvi. This was a musical program, very beautiful. I have received so many tremendous feedbacks, the members who attended it. It's something which is unique, and we extended this again to your family on the social front. Moving on, what we did for travel and adventure, Haribhai talked about it. We already did 2, which is basically your Kerala, which was India, and international Pattaya. The one which we are doing in December is for Japan. Most probably this is the last one, but I never say this is last, because you never know what is lying in the box of the future. So I say, okay, 2 we have done, 3rd we have planned, and the box is open for next 6 months. Moving on, our responsibility to our society. We do events for ourselves, that is technical. We do social events for your family, but we also have to take care of the society. How do we take care of the society? We did something called donations for iftar food. That was during the month of Ramadan. We also did something called blood donation, where 100+ members arrived and donated blood for the welfare of everyone. And last thing, for the future, what we did is we planted trees. These are the CSR initiative done by the chapter to contribute to the society. Sir, society ke liye taali bajni chahiye, because it's our collective responsibility to ensure society sustains. Last part, collaboration is power. We as ICI Dubai chapter alone cannot achieve anything. We have to collaborate, and we have started this year. We are doing in past, but we have started more efforts to do collaborations. What we did 2 programs. One was something on a shairi or something, which was Pratibha Baghel came in. We associated with a group, and then we also participated in Janmashtami with India Club. So we are collaborating a lot with different organizations in Dubai to take it forward. If I have to summarize, I can say 48 days of chapter engagement in last 6 months, which is nothing but 1.5 months. 48 days is nothing. We have together spent 48 months. Do not go and say to your wife, they will not like it. 48 days you have spent with us, not with your family. Overall, 8 areas of engagement. If I classify where exactly we engage you as members, where we come together. First is obviously our journal technical event like this, where we are all sitting and enjoying it. That is first part. Second is focus workshop, which we discussed, where we are having 5-day, 2-day sessions. That is focus workshop. Next is focus technical event, which we talked about 2 hours, 30-40 people attend these events, which is deep dive into the topics. So Sports Mania, where we engage you in sports, there are members, trust me, there are members who only comes for sports. The entire year, they don't come for any technical event, they come for sports because sports is something which beats their heart. That is what we do. And then study tours we talked about, and CSR initiative we do. Two more things which we have started this year is one, doing social initiative, that is in this quarter we have started, which we talked about, Onam Sadhya and Sahir Ludhianvi. The last part, collaborative events where we are engaging with other entities as well. Around 60% we discuss about is the engagement with the chapter. 330 new members have been added to the chapter in last 6 months. Now, the last part, which I always want and where I need your support, is your feedback. Your feedback matters to all of us. And what I will tell you is, we have taken 300 feedbacks in total in last 6 months. So इसमें दो चीज हो सकती है. Either we are doing good, or you have given us up on us and said, नहीं हो पाएगा इनसे, no point of giving feedback. I don't know where it is, but we only have received 300 feedbacks so far. Average score is 4 of 5. That gives me the reason, yes, the committee is doing good. Yes, you are happy. Yes, you like what we are doing standing here. In summary, one thing which I found in all the events is something with the reason we are starting on time is something which is liked by all the members in general. Do you think we should continue starting on time all our events? Perfect. This is the noise. I mean, where you like it, you say it loudly. Yes, we will do it. We'll continue to start our events on time. Few logistic issues which we highlighted in quarter one regarding projectors, sound. I can see Kaji there. Kaji, you can smile. Those has been sorted out. I have not seen any of those issues in quarter two. So that is good thing. Feedback received in quarter two is less than 100. Last time we received somewhere around 200. This time it is less than 100. I told you two reasons. Either हम अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, या you have given us up on us. Okay. Finally, something which as a food of thought, I just want to tell you, food of thought for all the members. You are all there, so it may not be relevant to you. Out of total registrations, still there are 1,569 registrations where the registrations are taking place, but the member is not attending the event. We are talking about all that 48 days or 49 days we have engaged you. 1,569 unique members are there who registered and did not attend the event, either one or two. One is possible. Sometimes commitment comes. What we did, we went one more level up. We said, okay, let's see how many of them did not attend 3 events. If they are registered and could not attend 3 events, there are still 421 members who is registering for 3 events, did not turn up. That is why they are not cancelling also. They are lying there. It hurts. I went one further up step and I said, okay, let me see how many are there who have registered 5 times and did not come to the chapter. It's 47 members, still a high number. Sir, if you are not able to come, I'm talking about one member registered more than 5 times and 47 members are there who did not turn up. I will tell you the last part, and that is where my heart lies, and that is what hurts me, is there are 3 members who are registered for 9 times and did not come up. I will not name them, we will not name it, but that is something as a member, I will request, please abide by it. If I go by average, I will say 50 to 60% is my average attendance. That is 50 to 60% people who are registered attends. I want this number to go up. I want to see 80, 90. I will not say 100. That's impractical. But practically it should be 80%. If you're not able to attend, please cancel your registration. Logistically, we will be good. We will be able to do more events. But that's my humble request to you. I will give you one more statistics. If it's a paid workshop, 95% is the attendance. 95%. See the difference. From 50, we jump on to 95%. That is because that's a paid workshop of 5 days, 2 days. People attended. Again, a small focus group event, 50 to 55%. On an average, 50% is a chapter attendance. Do you think this is right, or we should work together to lift it up? Sir, जोर से बोलिए, should we lift it up or should we remain in 50%? So let's try to do together. It's our collective effort to inform our members that yes, sir, if you are not attending, please cancel it. We should spend the money logistically and economically. Thank you very much for all your feedbacks. Together we can. Okay, time to move on. First half is complete. We have discussed about it. Now it's time to move on to the second session of the day. Okay, how many of you know MS Dhoni? MS Dhoni? वो हाथ भी उठा रहे sir. MS Dhoni is known by all because we are Indians and he has done a lot for India. Our next speaker is nothing but MS Dhoni. Why I say MS Dhoni? Reason being, MS Dhoni once said, I have always believed in the process. These are the words of MS Dhoni. He said, I always believed in the process, which is important than the results. Our next speaker has the same thought process. Mr. Akhil Chaturvedi believes that process may not immediately result in performance, but continuous compliance to the process will definitely give superlative performances. Before I invite MS Dhoni, Akhil Chaturvedi on the stage, let me invite our ExCom member Ashna to come on the stage and introduce our speaker. Give a round of applause to ExCom member Ashna.
Fellow members, distinguished guests, a very good morning. An investor without an investment objective is like a traveler without a destination, isn't it? Today, we have seen two types of investments. One is how to increase your portfolio and your earnings, while the other, Amcha Ghar, has focused and invested on home, hope, health, and happiness of thousands of deserving. Maza shat pranam tumhala. So set your objectives right. Today, we have Akhil Chaturvedi. He has wide experience of over 23 years as a financial service industry in India. Presently, he is working with Motilal Oswal as Chief Business Officer. He holds master's degree in business administration as well as accounting, finance from the University of Leeds. He brings along rich experience in the area of investment products such as mutual fund, portfolio management services, and alternative investment funds. Without taking much of your time, let us welcome the Dhoni of Motilal Oswal, Akhil Chaturvedi.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Pleasure being out here. Thank you, ICI Dubai chapter. I had the opportunity of presenting at the ICI Doha chapter last year. So this is another opportunity to present in Dubai. So probably in the next couple of years, I'll complete the entire Middle East market for all the CAs. Obviously, I come from a family where there are a lot of CAs. My father is a chartered accountant. Unfortunately, I could not do chartered accountancy, but I did my MBA. So all the cards out here were carrying CA, someone, and I was the only one who had Akhil Chaturvedi. So I'm the odd one out here. Usually in these forums, when I travel with Ramdoji, generally I lead the program, right? So I make the presentation first, and then Ramdoji comes because you have to save the best for the last. So when I saw the itinerary, I am the second one after Ramdoji. तो रामदू के बात करने के बाद मैं आधा इंथू तो वहीं खत्म हो जाता है और किसी को सुनना ही नहीं है, right? So it's a very tough job for me to talk after him, but the organizers are smart, so they have kept another session of him after my talk, such that you don't leave and you listen to me, and then after that you listen to Ramdoji once again, right? So thank you once again. Yes, today's topic is about process to performance, and in anything we do in life, whether you are into sports, whether you're into health, whether you're into your business, we are into business of investing. It's extremely important to have certain processes, and then you need to have the discipline to follow the processes. And then results do come. It takes time. You need to really have the patience. Ramdoji spoke about the slide, vision, courage, and patience. So patience is the rarest of the three, but if you have the patience and you keep up with your processes, then the results will definitely be there. We heard Mr. Rajiv ji, I think it was a very, very lovely initiative what you have taken, and I would love to really be part of it. But I think his processes and his discipline and all his right intentions are now leading into some really very, very good results, and wish you all the best for the future. Coming to my talk, and one more last, I saw my relative out here, Umendra. So out here, I'm a Chaturvedi. I come from Mathura. I stay in Mumbai. And our community is known to produce a lot of chartered accountants. Lots and lots and lots. I think we have some 1,000 CAs out here, Chaturvedis, right? And all of them are doing extremely well. Umendra is my relative sitting in the front row, I think one of the leading CAs. So happy to see some of my relatives also out here. So moving on, what I'll do is, Ramdoji has given a good picture about how India has shaped up in the last 25 years. It has been compounded past, and in the next 25 years, it will be a compounding story. So the best way to participate in the India story is actually through the stock markets, right? Because over long-term, stock markets are generally reflection of how any economy does. We've seen that in US, we have seen that in Japan, we have seen that in Europe. You know, as these economies became very, very large and developed economies, their stock markets also created a lot of wealth, right? So, like Ramdoji again said, that I think next 25 years, the only country which is throwing up this kind of a mammoth opportunity of growing from $4 trillion to $25 trillion. And like performance takes time, the $25 trillion will come in 25 years, it will not come tomorrow. And therefore all the wealth creation in equities or stock markets will also happen in the next 25 years and not in the next 3 and 5 years. You know, I'm from the business side and I meet a lot of investors every day. And every time we talk about investing in equities, mutual funds, stock markets, direct equity, all of us usually talk about an investment window of 3 to 5 years, right? In 3 to 5 years, it is only luck which can help you make money. If you are lucky, you will make in 3 to 5 years. I mean, that's the horizon we keep for ourselves. When we are talking about compounding, the most important thing is tenure, T, the race to power T. And T is actually the time you spend. So I would urge each investor out here who are investing in equity especially, it is a volatile asset class. You have to go through all the ups and downs. And the only hedge to the ups and downs is basically time. So over time, we have seen that in the last 40 years, Sensex has grown from 100 to now 65,000. Nifty is at now 20,000. And let me tell you that in all the humility, Ramdoji very quickly ran through the slide. I thought he would have shown that slide and there would be a lot of claps. And that slide was basically talking about compounding of Nifty. So let's say when we reach in 25 years that 25 trillion mark, 10% of the world GDP, let's say we go by 100% market cap to GDP, right? So if today the GDP is $3.8 trillion, the market cap is $3.8 trillion, right? So that's 100%. So it's very easy to calculate. If we are 25 trillion GDP in the next 25 years, the market cap also will be 25 trillion. And if you translate that into price, potentially Nifty can grow from 20,000 to something like 2 lakh and that kind of a number. Now, a lot of people out here will not bother too much because that's far-fetched. 2 lakh seems to be very, very big. But honestly, in the last 10 years, in 2013, when I joined Motilal Oswal and my ex-colleague Ashish, that time was not a great time for equities. Nobody was really investing in Indian markets, right? So we used to go about meeting investors, explaining about equities, long-term, wealth creation, all that stuff. This was not the lead we got from Ramdoji, actually. Both of us, me and Ashish, we made a presentation where we did some calculations, some numbers on the Excel. And we said that in the next 10 years, so in 2013, we just made a kind of a guess prediction that in the next 10 years, in 2013, so 23, where we are now, Nifty will be Sensex. Okay, so in 2013, Nifty used to be about 6,000 and Sensex used to be 17, 18,000. 10 years has passed by and 6,000 of Nifty is actually 19,000, which is Sensex of then, right? And Sensex today is 65,000, and in the last 10 years have not been the best years for the best 10 years of India, right? So we've seen the COVID, we've seen the war, we have seen the taper tantrum, we have seen demon, GST, all kind of reforms. Yet, when you look at 3-5 years and you look at 10 years, things look very, very different, right? So in the next 10 years, it will, in this room, I can say that in the next 10 years, it wouldn't be wrong to again make that prediction that after 10 years, again, Nifty will be Sensex. So let's not look at 25 years. I'm saying in the next 10 years, Nifty will be Sensex, right? So keep in mind, 20,000 is Nifty today and 65,000 is Sensex. Now you can do your calculations and make an assumption where we will be in the next 10 years, and 10 years just pass by. You really don't get to know. So getting into the in my presentation, and I'll try to be as fast as possible. So just wanted to give you a little bit introduction about our group, our organization, and then more specifically about our asset management company, which is where, I'll explain to you our processes and how we have been doing in terms of performances. And I'll leave you some thoughts, some ideations, because if you want to participate in India, like I said, you have to participate in India through the stock markets, through capital markets, and you can come directly into equity. You can buy mutual funds, you can buy PMS, you can buy AIF, whatever you like. But you have all the options and the opportunities available to you. I'll leave you some thoughts, not maybe from a sales perspective, but just thoughts, and then we have our people, you can talk to them. So in nutshell, Motilal Oswal Financial Services Group, at this stage, we are overall managing about $40 billion through the various businesses we have. So we are leaders in the broking and distribution business. We are leaders in the private equity business, investment banking, asset management, private wealth. So these are some of the highlights. We manage overall $40 billion. We are very close to 10,000 employees overall at the group level. Our asset management company, where I come from, we are managing about $6.7 billion of AUM, and this is pure equity AUM, right? And this has grown multiple times actually in the last 10 years. We are leaders in the category 3 alternate investment funds, investing into India. Very large investment team for the size of AUM we manage. So a lot of AMCs in India who are managing maybe 3, 4, 5 times the size we manage, they have similar teams. So we invest a lot. To create good processes, you need good people. So we have a very large investment team under able leadership of Ramdevji managing all the money. We are ranked 3rd in terms of domestic brokerage house for institution research team, and we have a very large coverage in terms of covering sectors. And this is where the DNA of investing into equities actually come from. So now if you look at this slide, if you want to come to India and you want to buy, participate into equities, you want to buy direct equities, you can go to our Ajay Menon's company, which is our broking company. You want to buy private equity, you can go to Motilal Oswal Private Equity. You want to buy mutual funds, you can come to our asset management. You want to do wealth management, we have our wealth management practices. So across the gamut of financial services, we have all businesses which are actually leadership businesses in these spaces. So that's another snapshot. Overall, I've explained to you, but these are the different businesses and the kind of accounts we are managing, the size we are managing across different businesses. And all these businesses are actually also helping the AMC to come out with ideations to invest in various portfolios that we manage, right? So we call ourselves as House of Ideations. So when you look into our portfolios of mutual funds and portfolio management services, you will find a lot of businesses which are very, very unique, not very, very common to some of our peer group. And the benefit of buying good businesses of tomorrow, today, that benefit and that advantage comes from the pedigree and the DNA and the capabilities of the group which is existing, right? Now coming more to Motilal Oswal AMC, where I come from, I head the business side. So I've basically tried to simplify this presentation by talking about 5 Ps. I think Sir spoke about 4 Ps or something like that, right? Your processes. So these are our 5 Ps, working on strong processes. So how we buy stocks, how we create our portfolios is through the philosophy of QGLP, Quality Growth Longevity Price. Ramdevji is the author of this philosophy. And then very strong policies in terms of managing the risk, because we are in an asset class which is very risky. It goes through ups and downs. So markets are volatile, and everybody is really worried about trying to stay away from volatility, losing money, right? Everybody wants to run away from that. So to ensure that you do not go through too much of volatility, we can protect your downside. We have put a lot of risk management frameworks in place to give you a lot more stable and consistent performance over long periods of time. So avoid volatility, more consistency, more stability in terms of the performance. Then we'll talk about the team who manages the money, and then we'll talk about our portfolios. And finally, like I said, performance is the last. Actually, it goes in that order, right? So first are the processes, then are the policies, people, then portfolios, and then performance, right? So we'll look at each of these aspects, but this is the crux actually of our, you can say this is our moat, this is our competitive advantage, this is why we exist. And for our organization, I think we have been lucky to have our founder, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal, 40 years of investing in equities, 27 years of wealth creation study. All of these things led us to create our own very unique institutionalized investment philosophy frameworks, which we use to create our portfolios of 25 to 35 companies. There are about 6,000 listed companies in the market, right? And now if you want to create a portfolio of 25 to 30 stocks, then there has to be some process. There has to be some method to madness to shortlist and come down to the best 25, best 30, best 40 companies for investors, right? And this is where the framework of QGLP, as simple as it sounds, the first framework or the first filter, and it actually goes in this order, is basically doing the quality check. There is a subjective check where obviously we are looking at good quality businesses means good businesses with strong competitive advantages, strong leadership, strong brand, strong margins, all of these things. But numerically, if the way we look at it numerically is basically looking at companies with very high return on capital employed stroke cash flows, right? So the companies actually which produce more return on capital employed than the cost of capital are the companies which we say are great businesses where we can put our hard-earned money, right? That will also protect your downside. Rough guesstimate says that 90% of the filtration, the weeding out of companies, out of the 6,000 companies, the 90% part is done on the quality check itself, right? So once you've done the quality check, we need to invest in businesses which will grow. So growth factor is extremely important, and here we are looking at companies which can grow their profits at a good rate. And probably internally we talk about doubling of profit in 3 to 5 years time. So 15 to 25% of earnings growth over 3 to 5 years, because eventually in long term growth will ensure that the price of the company also follows the growth itself, right? So Q and G, and longevity is basically longevity of quality and longevity of growth. So is this company, because we are buy and hold investors, we believe in long-term investing, will the quality and growth last for a couple of years ahead, right? So longevity check on quality and growth. And finally, it is very important to buy quality and growth at the right price, right? Because if you buy good companies at wrong price, obviously there will be a waiting period for you to make money. You may not make money immediately. So we have to ensure that we are buying businesses at the right price, right? And this kind of a framework has helped us actually create a universe of about 200, 250 companies which we track regularly, and from those 250 companies is where the fund managers buy different portfolios, and they create their portfolios out of the overall universe. So this is the process we follow. Some of the interesting things we have really built into our process of creating portfolio is now more as a teamwork within the investment team. The team has actually come out with high growth themes. So which are the high growth themes in India for the next 2 or 3 years? Now that has been arrived at a consensus at the investment team level. So what we are saying is that everybody believes in those 7 or 8 themes for India in the next 2 or 3 years. All portfolios should reflect similarity of those themes across portfolios. So now if you open our portfolios, whether mutual funds or portfolio management, 65 to 100% of the portfolios will demonstrate those high growth themes. I'll share with you some of those themes, how we look at. And the rest 35% of the portfolio is given flexibility to the fund manager to buy as per his or her thesis, and that's the freedom you give to the managers, right? So this is how we do the selection part. This is how the portfolios are created using our frameworks. Now, very important is that once the portfolio is created, how do you allocate? How do you kind of manage the risk? Meaning that if you buy into a company and the company goes up, let's say a couple of times and starts to look expensive, then do we have the frameworks to ensure that when businesses start to become expensive, we take our profits off the table, right? So staying on to businesses which start to become expensive, obviously then, at some stage they will go through their own mean reversion. So to ensure that you do not go through that phase, we have put inside certain frameworks where we do our profit booking at regular intervals. So that's the first step of building the risk management system. Sometimes you have companies which don't do well, so we have processes to cut the companies which do not do well at regular intervals. So this is how we are trying to build the consistency part. The other important thing we have done to reduce the risk and build about consistency is basically trying to make our portfolio more equated portfolios. So if we are creating a portfolio of, let's say, 30 to 35 stocks, per stock exposure would be somewhere in the range of 4 to 6%. So you're not really taking overexposure to the to some of the stocks on the top end, and neither are you diluting it too much at the tail end. So you will not find in our portfolios small holdings of 0.1, 0.2, 0.3% really not adding much to the returns. At the same time, you will not find any stock or any company on the top more like 10, 11, 12%, because that is where the risk comes. We also did another check where top 10 stocks in our portfolios, the total allocation is actually less than the top 10 stocks of the index. So these are some of the things we have done just to bring about a lot more stability and consistency in the performance, right? So avoid staying put onto expensive companies. Keep cutting your companies where you are not making money or things are not working out. Have more equated portfolios, right? And being very, very aware of the liquidity check, because if you buy extremely illiquid companies, there could be times where it could create pressure to move it out of the portfolio. So these are some of the practices we have put in terms of managing the risk of the portfolio. So the first slide we spoke about selection. This slide is all about allocation. I think these are the two important things which any fund manager would be doing on a regular basis. So then who are the guys who are doing QGLP and who are the guys who are managing your money? And this is our entire team. And, I think a lot of work has actually gone into strengthening this team in the last couple of years. So we have a very strong investment committee out here now, led by Mr. Agarwal. Actually, coincidentally, all three are Agarwals on the investment committee, right? So we have Ramdev Agarwal, Naveen Agarwal, Pratik Agarwal, but they are not related to each other, right? So they're all professionals, but coincidentally, all the Agarwals are actually leading the MOAMC investment team. So Ramdevji, all of us know. Naveen is also our third promoter. He's almost now 22 years and more in the group. He was the one who started our institutional equities businesses and works very closely with Motilalji and Ramdevji. So we are and he's also investment person, right? So he also brings a lot of, he's been an analyst. So his expertise also helps being part of the investment committee and leading the team. Pratik Agarwal would be a well-known name probably out here. He's more popular for his track record while he was working with the ASK Investment Managers, which is one of the leading PMS players. So Pratik joined us about a year ago, and he comes with a 3-decade experience. So actually, if you see all the three members on the investment committee put together, they bring along more than 100 years of investing experience. 40 years of Ramdevji, 30 years of Naveen, 30 years of Pratik. That's like about 110 years of investing experience. And the job of them is to basically take care of the policies and the processes we spoke about, the QGLP and the risk management, counseling managers when they are going through a tough phase, encouraging managers who are doing well, right? And these are all our managers managing different portfolios. On the top are the managers who manage our alternate products, which are portfolio management and alternate investments. And below we have managers who manage our mutual funds. If I come here after 3 months, we would have 2 more names here. So they are in process to joining us. So we continue to beef up the investment team, because eventually this is where the expertise come from. Eventually we are here to manage money for people, and therefore we have to ensure that we have a very tight team out here. So this is all about people. And I spoke about themes when the portfolios are created. So at this stage, some of the opportunities we are very excited about, and which is what is reflecting in our portfolios, where we feel growth will be higher than the average growth of the market, is basically one on the lending side. On the lending side, again, we are over allocating more towards NBFCs and NBFCs like banks. So we are a little underweight on the large cap banks, but we are overweight on the mid cap banks or the NBFCs. Within the financials, we are also excited. We have been excited about the opportunity in insurance, because it's a very underpenetrated market. So insurance could be a very good, very, very long-term story. So maybe 10, 15 years. We have reasonable good experience to general and life insurance companies across our portfolios. We look at healthcare. Generally, we think about pharmaceutical. So we are underweight on pharma today, but we are more excited about hospitals. So again, you will see in our portfolios more hospitals and less conventional pharmaceutical companies, right? So we feel hospitals will grow faster and higher than the conventional pharmaceutical companies. In the consumption space, obviously India is a consumer story. So At this stage, we feel that FMCG might underperform, so they will grow slow. And where we are seeing growth is actually on the high-end consumer discretionary, right? So whether it is travel, tourism, hotels, flights, Ramdoji spoke about cars, 15,000 BMWs getting sold. So there is where the growth is very, very strong in India right now. So that is the space where we are investing to participate in the consumer opportunity. And then manufacturing, again, thanks to the government push, PLI scheme, China Plus One, all of these things have led to the manufacturing sector again going through an uptake. So there we are participating into defense, specialty chemicals, infrastructure, power. So that's also now part of our high growth themes. Now you open any portfolio, you will find 65 to 100% will be basically created out of these high conviction themes which we have discussed here. And this is how we talk about growth. So, how we are trying to push the growth of the portfolios, right? Because as I said, growth is very, very important for us to determine what kind of returns one will make over time. So just 6 months back, most of our portfolios were demonstrating earnings growth of more like 18 to 25%. We have made our alterations in the portfolio following those high growth themes, and the growth outlook for our portfolios, and these are just sample numbers of some of the schemes, have gone up by 500 to 700 basis points. So now most of our portfolios are demonstrating growth more in the range of 25 to 35%. I'm talking about the profit growth here, right? So we have moved the growth quotient up, right? We are ensuring that the valuations are not very expensive while we are participating in such growth story. Quality obviously is not going to be compromised. And if you have done all of this as a process, then our company's tagline is buy right, sit tight. So once we have done that, all we have to do is sit tight. Most of our portfolios, when I talk to fund managers, they had done all the restructuring last year, right? Because after COVID, a lot has changed. A lot of portfolios had to be modified. Most of the portfolio managers had done the work. Portfolios were rehashed, all kind of changes were done, but performance did not come immediately. We did not see great performances last year in our portfolios. But this year, and more specifically financial year till date, all that hard work which has gone in the last year has demonstrated, I'll show you some of the numbers, some amazing performances. Right, so the other thing I would suggest to all of you is, again, from my experience interacting with investors is, when we look at buying into a stock, आपको कोई कंपनी खरीदनी है, डायरेक्ट इक्विटी कंपनी खरीदनी है, तो आप आगे का सोचते हैं, आप you will not buy a stock which has done or which has outperformed in the past, right? You will say that give me the next outperforming stock. You don't want to buy what is worked. You want to buy what will work. But when it comes to managed funds like mutual funds, PMSs and all that stuff, we actually try to invest in what has done good in the past. We are not trying to look into the future, right? So more important for us, any fund, anywhere you want to invest, you have to look into the future, whatever the past may be. Past could be good, so whether good will continue, and past can be bad, but will bad turn into good? And there is where that margin of safety, that discount to value, and that excess return can be produced. So I would urge each one of you, when you look at mutual funds or when you appraise mutual funds and portfolio managers, simply don't appraise them by performance. Performance is cyclical. Different managers will perform different times, different styles. I mean, last 3 years has been all about value style of performance, right? This year has been a mix of value and growth. Maybe next 3 years will be growth. So we are growth investors. We do not do value. So we did not participate in the value, right? So each manager will bring different skills, different styles. You allocate in 2-3 managers different styles, and at the portfolio level, you have to see whether you're doing well or not. So once again, just at the cost of repetition, my suggestion is not to look at past performance and then invest. You speak to people like us, we will tell you, like I'm telling you right now, process, policies, high growth themes, portfolios, all of these things, and then you get your conviction and then you stay long, or you kind of make your investments for long term, right? So we believe in the philosophy of having focused high conviction portfolios. Very quickly, all our portfolios, and this is where we are very, very different. Most of the actively managed schemes, you will find that portfolios are filled with 75, 100, 125, even 150 stocks I've seen, right? The more the number of stocks in the portfolio, the returns will get more and more aligned towards the index. Now, I'm not saying that is not a good way of investing. That is also a good way of investing. But our way of investing is focused way of investing. High quality 25 to 35 businesses, demonstrate the conviction, be as away from the index, and then try to outperform the index, right? So walk the talk we spoke about. So whatever we are talking is actually reflecting into our portfolios as well. And then finally, as I said, performance is important. So these are the outcomes in a snapshot. If I have to say, 6 out of 8 of our mutual funds are outperforming the market by a very good margin. Actually, 8 out of 8 PMSs are now outperforming. So all our 8 PMSs are outperforming the market. I'm not putting the absolute numbers also looking very good these days. I'm just saying that we are doing better than the market. And 13 out of 14 AIFs are now actually outperforming the market. So we spoke about processes, we spoke about the team strength, we are now talking about the performance, right? So this is in nutshell what we do and what we have delivered. And we are an institution now which is into public money management for 20 years. So we started off in 2003, we are in 2023. So it's a reasonable long track record for one to really make a kind of a understanding or decision whether you want to participate. And we've lived through all kind of cycles. In fact, our oldest PMS, which has a kind of a huge value, because originally Ramdoji himself was managing that fund, Value PMS, we launched in 2003, and that's a large cap oriented PMS. That has delivered a compounding of 21% over the last 20 years. That's something like, I mean, a crore of rupees is now about 40-45 crores thereabouts. In Value PMS, if you wouldn't have done anything in the last 20 years, just stick to that portfolio, which was more of a blue chip portfolio investing in the top 100 companies. It has done 20% CAGR, 3% over the market. And a crore is up 45 times to about 45 crores plus dividends. So that 1.5% dividend would be separate. So that's the performance. And again, one very unique thing about our organization is that all our group investments and personal investments of our promoters are getting invested in our funds only. So whether it is our mutual funds, PMS, real estate funds, private equity funds, there is significant investment of our own group, our own prop promoters on the day one, right? So in our AMC, across our products, we have now over 5,000 crores of investment, and we have just put some of the products where larger allocations have been made. And these allocations have not been moved. I think this started to happen in 2014 when Ramdoji decided to sell off all the direct equities and move into our own funds, because we were building our AMC business. And I think that thought was very noble thought when he said that now that we are managing public money, then our money and public money should be aligned together, right? And the alignment of interest is extremely important. So whatever experiences our funds are giving or have given in the past, we will also experience similar experience in terms of returns, volatility, and let me tell you, Ramdoji is investing to make money. He's not investing to lose money, right? So we may go through all the ups and downs, but eventually I can tell you this 5,000 crores is also mark to market. I think, I'm not sure Ramdoji about the number, but the principal would have been more like 1,600 crores. So by just staying put for last several years, the compounding itself has actually multiplied to about 5,000 crores, right? So whatever product you look at, Motilal, we are there with you in that. Just a suggestion or a recommendation out of all the kind of products we do, there are 3 or 4 recommendations I just want to put on the table. You can, there are brochures and you can go through, and we have our team, Arbab, out here. You can talk to him for greater details. But these are some of the high conviction ideas within our organization where we feel that if you participate, then there's a good amount of chance to make good returns. So when you look at our alternate funds, PMS and AIF, there's a new ideation we have done very recently in the month of Feb. We call it Founders Fund. Now, by name, you can understand Founders means that we are trying to invest in the Indian entrepreneurs, the story of Indian entrepreneurs. And there was an interesting study done by Ramdoji in the wealth creation study where he saw that in the last 25 years, the fastest, the consistent, and the biggest wealth creators, 10 out of 10 names were promoter-led businesses. Right now, this kind of a theme is actually not available in any fund or PMS, only we have it. So we created this fund just to invest in Indian entrepreneurs, Indian promoters. So essentially, we are avoiding public sector-owned businesses. We are avoiding multinational-owned businesses. We will invest only in promoter-owned businesses along with that, we are also including ESOPs of the senior management, right? So that's one strong ideation. We have just started to raise money in that. We have crossed about 1,200 crores. And the initial seed capital of 400 crores has come, like I said, from our own group, right? So 40% of the portfolio is actually our own money at this stage. And this is one opportunity. You can buy it on PMS, you can buy it on AIF, and we are giving you a hybrid version of listed, unlisted also. So all the details are there in the brochure or can be discussed. But this is one ideation we are very, very excited about, and we want to make a strong recommendation to you. We also have in PMS a ethical strategy, which was done about 2 years back. Now, this is a strategy more from the feedback we got from a lot of investors who wanted to avoid certain sectors or due to certain religious beliefs, etc. So in this portfolio, essentially we buy everything except for, let's say, alcohol, cigarettes, meat, all of these things we are avoiding. So it can be compliant to our Jain or Muslim friends. I think it will be very, very compliant for those kind of investors. And that portfolio also is doing very well. I thought that this portfolio would make sense out here. And then in mutual funds, we have our large and mid-cap fund and mid-cap fund, right? So there are 3 or 4 opportunities which I wanted to share with you. And we have a Mauritius fund. You can buy into India through our Mauritius fund. But very soon we will be starting our GIFT City. So we will move Mauritius to GIFT City. So maybe just waiting for the FPI license to come in. You can also buy into India using our offshore fund, which is currently domiciled in Mauritius. It will move into the GIFT City maybe in the next couple of weeks' time. So that opportunity also is available if you want to do dollar in investments. So very briefly, this is the slide I said where in Founders Fund, if you see just the bottom, 10 out of 10 companies in the last 25 years who have created maximum wealth, consistent wealth, biggest wealth have been all Indian promoter-led firms, right? So from here is where we got the thought, from here is where we created this. You can say it is a thematic portfolio, and theme is basically the founders of India. And, this is, like I said, again, process to performance. So how we create this portfolio, you take the top 500 companies, you do the minimum 26% promoter check in terms of ownership. Then you look at minimum profitability, you look at minimum quality growth, QGLP check, and finally you have a 25 stock portfolio, right? So this is the funnel which we use basically to create this portfolio of 25 to 30 stocks. And performance, like I speak a lot about processes and all that stuff. And this is how the performance. India has done very, very well in the last couple of months. These numbers look exaggerating. I think one should be aligned to 13 to 15% kind of a return. But more important is the green bars, the green rows. The green rows is the quantum of outperformance this portfolio has done over the market. Right? You can go to the market, simply buy at a very low cost. But if you pay some fees and buy into our portfolio, we do 500 to 10, almost 5 to 10% of outperformance. So obviously you grow faster than the market and your compounding also is much stronger. So just focus more on the green, not on those absolute numbers. And same portfolio you can buy into listed, unlisted version. It's a AIF where 70% of the founders portfolio listed will be replicated and we will buy into 3 or 4 unlisted names. We have a very strong private equity practice and we will take their experience. One name we have already invested, there's a company called VVDN. We have already put money in that through our private equity. We have bought about 35 crores in this fund, which is 10% of the portfolio. So it's a unique opportunity where you can participate into Indian promoters through listed space and Indian promoters through the unlisted space, right? So that's also something very unique, which you can think about. This is the ethical PMS I spoke about. I'll maybe move again. If you focus on the black bars is where the outperformance or the excess performance is getting generated, right? So this fund also is doing better than the benchmark. Large and mid-cap fund is actually one of our top performing funds. 9 years of track record, 10 rupees, NAV is today 65. So almost a crore is now 6.5 crores. And look at the consistency. We all talk about consistency, not about how good the fund in terms of absolute numbers are, but look at on CYTD, FITD, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 3 year, 1 year. It's been a quartile one consistently. Means that if there are 50 mid-cap funds, then we have been in the top 10 mid-cap funds consistently over a very, very long period of time, right? And obviously, if you do well, you grow. So this fund is now over $1 billion in size, and we actively get very big cash flows in this fund on a monthly basis. Again, okay, sorry, that was a large and mid-cap fund. I'm so sorry. That was a large and mid-cap fund, and this is a mid-cap fund. So here also, if you see the wealth creation done over 9 years is almost 6.3 times, 10 lakh becoming 63 lakhs. And 9-10 years is a very, very long track record. And this is a Gift City fund where we will play the next $1 trillion opportunity which Ramdoji talked about. So the fund will be themed around combination of next $1 trillion opportunity and founders theme. Both of these are high conviction themes according to us. So we will create a portfolio on some very high growth themes. We already have this portfolio in Mauritius right now, like I said. We are moving this to Gift City. It's much more easier, much more cost efficient, and there are a lot of regulatory issues from time to time in Mauritius. So hopefully in Gift City, at least we will try to avoid those kind of issues, right? So that should be operationalized soon, and maybe in due course of time, we will give you that opportunity also. So these are some of the ideas I wanted to leave you with, and that brings me to all the disclaimers which are required by the compliance. Thank you for your patient hearing, and thank you for the opportunity once again.
Thank you, Vakil Saab. The more I know, I say you are MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni has clarity when he is on the field, right? What he needs to do. Second is, at the end, he accelerates. Akhil did the same thing. He had clarity of thoughts, and he was clear, and he accelerated at the end when he saw the time is running out. Sir, you are MS Dhoni of Motilal Oswal. I can truly say. Give a round of applause to Mr. Akhil for that great presentation. And can I request Chairman, Vice Chairman, our ex-com member Ashna to join me. Chairman, Vice Chairman Ashna to join me to felicitate Chairman Saab. सब हो जाएगा, आप आ जाओ. Finally, we have reached the last session of the day, the panel discussion, the discussion of Kal, Aaj or Kal, meaning yesterday, today and tomorrow. For me, yesterday is always experience, today is learning, and tomorrow is hope. We use our experiences of yesterday to further develop our learnings of today with hope tomorrow will be more beautiful. With this, let me first invite our own moderator, our own chairman, CA Harikishan Rankawat on the stage and take his seat on the panel. I was looking at last 6 months and analyzing the data you have seen. I have seen that he's one of the first chairmen who have had the maximum number of panels in 6 months of any committee in last 41 years as moderator. So we have the right moderator for the day. Now let me invite our first panelist of the day, Chhattisgarh Citizen of the Year 2018, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal on the stage, and request him to take his seat on the panel. Without you, sir, the panel can never be complete. Please join us. Finally, it's time to invite the last panelist of this panel. But before we invite CA Ajay Menon on the panel and request him to take his seat, it is our joint responsibility to formally introduce him to all our members. For introducing him to the members, I will request our ex-com member Sanjay to come up and take the stage. A round of applause for Sanjay to introduce CA Ajay Menon.
Thank you, Secretary Sir. Namaskar. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good morning, right? So timing is important. Less expert also says timing is important in even the stock market, right? Well, we all can have a great watch, but the market seems to have its own time schedule. Investing in stock market is also like a cricket match. We can have our own strategy, planning. We can send the ball also outside the fence, but we all get bowled by googlies. Agree or not? So how to play that balls better? We are fortunate to have our esteemed member of our CA community with us today to guide us. I'm deeply honored and delighted to introduce CA Ajay Menon, the whole-time director and CEO at Motilal Oswal Financial Service Limited in the broking and distribution division. With over 2 decades in the financial arena, Ajay's adventure began in 1998 when he joined Motilal Oswal as an accounts manager. But it was not long before he was juggling everything from compliance to legal, mastering the art of risk management, optimizing business processes, and decoding IT. He's one of the masterminds behind the Motilal Oswal Financial Magic Show. He has been a proud member of the ICI since 1997 and got a trial certificate in Series 7 2463 from FINRA regulation. But CA Ajay is more than just a number cruncher. He has given a dazzling innovation to business, which giving a Motilal Oswal is a competitive edge. Ajay's leadership has he has launched various initiatives by Motilal Oswal. And let's not forget that Ajay is also trophy collector on behalf of Motilal Oswal, bringing more award than a pro athlete. One more thing, once he's not busy with his financial numbers, he's off for an adventurous world tour, and even you can find him on a cricket field. Recently, he's also witnessed a match in Ahmedabad, India versus Pakistan, to cheer for Team India. So, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join me in extending a warm welcome to our esteemed panelist, CA Ajay Menon.
Good morning to both of you, and very good morning once again to all our respected members. I think Ramdev ji has given a lot of insight, and I was just looking at one of the number which he told, gross domestic saving, which is as of now $13 trillion, and it's going to become $113 trillion. So, sir, even I was thinking, now I'm thinking seriously to get settled in India, if that is the saving which is going to generate. Guys, you don't have to worry. I think staying here, and maybe we can invest through them, and we can enjoy or become part of the growth story of this $100 trillion. So we'll get our pie for sure. We don't have to move. I think we have to take the help of our experts, and then we will be there. Sir, I do remember actually after completing my CA in May 1996, I went to Mumbai, the dream city. I always believed actually I had to go to Mumbai, and then I landed in Mumbai in 1996. In June, actually, I was interviewed by Motilal Oswal and got rejected. But I think there is a proverb, life comes to full circle. And today I am sitting on the other side, and I am taking an interview of the iconic personalities like you. So this is, I am very honored and privileged to have in front of me great iconic personalities, and look forward. What I will do, I mean, I have got a lot of questions from the members. Few questions we have selected, and after every 2 questions, I will take 1 question from the audience as well. That's how we will do. And I think Jayaprakash also mentioned that Piyush Goyal, actually, he came first time in 2021 when I was secretary. And that time he was talking about $5 trillion economy. And this time, 2 weeks back when he came, he was talking about $33 trillion economy. So he's also echoing the same way as Ramdev ji. So guys, still we are not late. We can become part of this growth story and can take the advantage by taking the help of these experts. Now maybe we can start with the first question. Virendra Bhatia, our member, he has asked first question to Ramdev ji. Sir, is it better to invest in Indian stock market through ETF or through active managers? So what's your views on this?
Yeah, if you don't want to bother about the performance of a manager or selection of manager, then actually even participating through ETF is not a bad idea because it's a low cost and you are guaranteed of most of the investors, they don't get even the market return. Markets do 12, 13, 14%, but most of the investors across the portfolio. See, it is important to understand return across the portfolio, across your net worth, because you can get one stock which might be multi-bagger, but I mean, if you don't manage your portfolio well, you might have a multi-bagger, but the portfolio will do only 8-10% because you might be out of cash, you might be sitting, you might be having a lot of non-performing assets. Nobody talks about the companies which are not performing. So having even ETF, which is a passive S&P 500 or Nifty, whatever you like, I mean, that's a great way of participating. It's a low cost, very long-term strategy, less stress. And I mean, I would say at least do 50-50. You can do 50% in ETF and 50% if you like one manager or other, just put with them. I think they might give up, 2-3%, 4% outperformance. That 2-3% compounded for next 10-15 years is a lot of money. It makes a huge difference. So you must take that opportunity of buying into active managers also, because in India, a lot of multi-baggers are being created out of mid-cap and small cap, which typically indices they're not good to capture. So I would say go balanced way.
I think, thank you, sir. And I think Rajiv ji mentioned about the social investment. Just for your information, sir, Motilal Oswal has actually pledged their 10% equity to a trust as donation. Equity means everything, whatever is, they are earning, then at the end of the day, equity plus earning is already donated. So this is one of the great initiatives. Next question is from Ravi Agarwal. What is the driving force to increase price? Fundamentals or liquidity?
I think, that's the question?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it is a fundamental. I mean, if a company is making losses, you can manipulate the company for some time, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. But finally, I mean, stock is hen for the eggs, stocks for the dividends. And dividends are going to come only out of the earnings. So if you keep building up earnings, the value will keep, you must always remember two things, price and value. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. And the price doesn't come unless there is a value. And value comes from the earnings and quality of earnings. So that is an irrefutable fact. But in the short term, some companies, they manipulate so much that you tend to believe that whether the fundamentals are any meaning. But finally, no company of $100 billion or $200 billion become that large without fundamentals. So I think fundamental is the biggest source of earnings. Even when I was talking, I said, what is going to be the biggest game changer, whether FI sale or promoter sale, it is the corporate earnings growth. If corporate earnings growth build up to 20-25%, nothing on this earth can stop Indian market from going up.
Thank you. I think we can take one question from the audience.
I have a question actually. So there is a saying that you make money when you buy, right? Now I saw your presentation, which says that Indian market is already expensive, right? If it is already expensive, what is your strategy? You do fully invested now, or you wait for the market to get corrected, and then you invest 50% more? What is the strategy that we have to do it now?
So fortunately, I'm not a first-time investor. I've been investing since 1980. So I'm fully invested right from 1980 till date, as the market is going up and down. I mean, this is a condition of the market as we see today. Now it's all question of, I mean, it's like a real estate. Real estate prices, which were 10,000 rupees square feet in Mumbai, now is 1 lakh rupees per square feet. I mean, you might say that 1 lakh rupees may not sustain. It will come down. But actually things are becoming more expensive. Maybe the real estate prices are headed for 2 lakh rupees per square foot. When you look back, then you realize that you missed out on 1 lakh rupees. So India is in that kind of a journey. At the same time, I said, next 10 years, relentless, there is going to retail buying. And this is the biggest economic event, the corporate earnings growth, which used to be about 12-13%, that could change trajectory and it might land up at 15, 16, 17%. And that I don't have any hook on, whether it will go to 16, 70% not. If by chance that were to happen, like for last 4-5 quarters, what is happening is that the earnings estimate, what analysts are giving, for, for many years it has been, at the beginning of the year they will say 100 and it will turn out to be 60 or 70. Now when they're saying 100, it is turning out to be 105, 110. So they are very pessimistic, analysts are pessimistic, and what is coming out is better than that. So we are in that phase of upgradation. Now how long that will continue, how big that will be, I don't know. So valuations are stretched, beyond doubt it is stretched. Particularly mid and small are very stretched. Large caps are actually looking far more reasonably priced because FIs are continuously selling. So it's a market is mixed, and maybe I mean if it is expensive, but it is not so expensive that you should not enter. You must enter. You should be cautious, and maybe if you feel that there could be a hiccup before the election and all, you can do SIP kind of thing. You can enter say in 12 installments. So average, if you want to put 1 crore, you must put every month 8 lakhs rupees in terms of sustained buying, and that in 1 year you'll be into the market and you'll get average of the market. So if market goes down, still you get it. Market goes up, then also you still get it. So I think you have to negotiate with the uncertainty of the future, but don't stay out despite markets are a little more expensive.
Sir, thank you. My next question is to Ajay Menon. I think he is working on a lot of technological advancement in the Motilal Oswal asset management. So I was just thinking, because you are a tech guy, so whether you guys are investing in cryptos or metaverse.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. We are not anywhere into crypto and metaverse, and actually it is not even regulated in India. So we do only regulated activities and nowhere near cryptos as of now.
According to you, whether gold is a good investment, I think our member Suresh Rauta is asking.
So if you look at gold, I would say it's more of a stable investment. If you don't want the volatility of the stock markets, the ups and downs, gold is much more of a stable investment. It's actually a good hedge against inflation. If you think that there is going to be high inflation, gold is a very good hedge against that. But from a longer term perspective, if you look at investments, nothing to beat the equity investments on a long term journey. So you have to understand your own philosophy, how you want to invest. And gold also has got a lot of value from an emotional aspect, and a lot of, at least I'm from South India, and there will be a lot of South Indians over here who invest onto gold from much more emotional value. So nobody can take that out from the glittering value of gold. But I think equity has got its overall edge from a long-term perspective.
Thank you. I think even North Indians, they like to keep the gold for life. Yeah. Once they buy, then they keep it. So you are right. Next question is from Dilip Bhagat for Ramdevji. What is the likely trend of global oil price in the mid of war crisis and the impact on Indian economy, and how Indian government is preparing to protect the Indian economy from these increasing oil prices?
So this is the biggest source of uncertainty in India because we import almost 75-80% of energy needs, and oil is the biggest source. So yes, that remains I don't have any crystal ball gazing in terms of understanding where the oil price is headed. It was more like 60, 70. Right now it is about 92, 94. So it looks pretty challenging. Actually I don't have any view whether it is headed up or down. Particularly now it's very cartelized. There's no dearth of oil in the world, but it is very cartelized. It has become very political commodity. So people are using Saudi Arabia, Russia, all these guys have come together and they are using them as a, some kind of weapon against the global political groups. So I don't know, how things will, it looks a little dangerous right now. At about 95, the moment it goes on triple digit, I think it is a stress for India and it can increase the inflation. And the moment inflation goes up, our interest rates will go up and growth will tend to come down. Managing the Indian economy with even $150 is not a problem because now we have the reserve, we have the services exports, we have everything. So I don't think the economy is per se threatened, but growth rate will definitely slow down. If but India will have tough time. But what will happen to other emerging markets? I think they'll get completely wiped out And what will happen is that there will be global recession if the energy prices are high. So my sense is, yes, for some time it can go there, but it will have a huge repercussion and the prices will further collapse. So I think this double digit $80, $90 is what is sustainable, and India can survive and prosper in this kind of environment.
I think India is doing a lot of on solar energy as well as alternative energies. I think they are
It's a
working
very
on.
long-term thing. I don't think in next 5, 7 years that is going to have any meaningful impact on the demand for the oil, because the economy is growing at 7%. So oil demand has to grow at 8, 9%. So India will become the second largest importer of oil in the world after China.
Great. Nice to know, sir. Thank you very much. I think next question we can take from the audience.
Hello. Can I? My question to Mr. Buffett. रामदेव जी, ये जो मेरे जेब में गोल्ड है, LIC है, फिक्स डिपॉजिट है, उसको how you can take it from me into the equities? That is the question.
क्या क्या है आपके पास में?
सर ये बोल रहे हैं कि इनकी जेब में LIC है, गोल्ड है, उनको कैसे कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं इक्विटी में?
गोल्ड हो तो बहुत इजी है.
नहीं, ज्वेलरी. I mean the jewelry.
अच्छा.
And I am more prone to invest into the jewelry, fixed deposit. I know from the investment point of view, equity is the long-time wealth creator, but I am not convinced as a average Indian, because we have seen that how many demat accounts are there, 12 crores, against how much population is. Okay, we can discount the below poverty line, but still the numbers are very high in terms of the population than the percentage of the demat accounts. So if the economy is growing, how much the wealth as an Indian average person will be pocketed? That is what I want to understand.
Could you get the question?
I think he is more.
Okay. See, in simple terms, the question is, my investment currently is not generating the returns.
Yeah.
As a psychology, I have.
Yeah, so you must switch, no? If your existing investment savings are not making money, you must switch. You must change the allocation of your assets.
And we have got a office set up here. You can get in touch with our office and he will be more than happy to give you all the ways to get the investment into all the right funds.
See, this is not a question I am asking. This is what as an average Indian having the mindset. So this is a mindset, the psychological things, that the jewelry investment, the FD investment, the LIC investment is much more secure than investment in the equities. That is what I am asking you the basic questions.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I mean, to keep it simple, all the fixed income securities, they typically do about 6% in India, and equities do about 12% on average. So, but then equity has this up and down kind of phenomenon. I mean, 1 year it will do 80%, then next year it will be down by 30%. Like first 2 years, market went from 8,000 post-COVID to more like say 16, 17,000. Then in 22, 23, there was zero return. In the current year, that same thing is giving 15, 70% return. So this fluctuating thing, what people don't like, they want capital guarantee and they want modest return of 6%. That is the fixed income. When you come to the equity, it gives you 12%. So my simple prescription to everybody is, if you want 12%, be 100% in equity. If you want 6%, don't bother about the stock market. If you want 9%, you got to go 50-50. It is that simple, wealth management. And it is for you to figure out whether you want to take the risk at all. I mean, you want to be party to the risk taking in equity or not. Anywhere you go, whether you buy American equity, you buy Chinese equity, the risk will be there. So whether you want to be part of that journey or not, that is completely your call.
At the end of the day, we have to look at our asset class allocation. How do you want to? But as Akhil mentioned, that value fund managed by Ramdev ji, if you would have invested 1 crore and in 20 years it has become 45 crores, I mean, which is a great, I think, return on investment. multiple, and this is the power of compounding which he was talking. So at the end of the day, you have to take a cautious decision whether you want to go at your own or you want to take the help of fund managers, expert fund managers. Yeah, the next question is from Ashwin Kumar Baveja, and he's asking Ramdevji, what are your views on the US dollar versus INR investment for NRI? And another question he's asking, because in this part of the world, UAE, we do not have any pension plan. So what do you suggest? I mean, is there any other idea to create the wealth for the retirement?
I mean, the whole game is that of creating wealth. I mean, you're all blessed to get exposed to US markets and other markets. US market will remain very important for the world's wealth creation, because the entire concept of capitalism, securitization, they're all coming new innovations. They're all coming from US. So particularly in the technology frontier, NASDAQ and all, they are fantastic vehicles. I would definitely, sitting here, I would definitely explore investing into US market and get dollar exposure into some of them. And so it depends on how much I would like to have, but definitely I will have some exposure there. And then say 50% in that side, other 50% I'll definitely put in Indian equities. So these two combination, I mean, you can buy the highest growth market, because I also have confidence in India. Because being an Indian, we know exactly what is happening. Others may have a lot of confusion, apprehensions, but we have a lot more confidence in India. So I would definitely put 50% in India and 50% in US. And in US, I would definitely go to the NASDAQ route, all the technology companies. So technology frontier and the old economic growth in India. So I think this combination should give you a good blend of a dollar return of plus 10%, anywhere between 10 to 12%, 13% in dollar returns over a period of time.
It's a great suggestion, sir. Thank you very much. I think
Perfect. Combinations or collaboration is important. Yes, sir. Go ahead with your question.
Hi, sir. I'm Shriram. So, firstly, thank you for this enriching session. I'm an investor in some of your funds, and I've been regularly following your guidance, especially when it comes to having the right temperament in stock market investing, even during COVID. I have two questions, and both are sort of related to each other. So the first thing is, everybody wants to capture a piece of India's growth story. But then when we talked about the market cap to GDP, and this is commonly known as the Buffett indicator, right? In India versus the US, a large chunk of the economic activity is still in the unlisted or the informal sector. And everyday Indians are, using services, and even during the pandemic, all our vaccines were manufactured by entities which were unlisted. So do you see, this room for valuation expansions on market cap to GDP as an indicator? And the second question, in conjunction to that, many promoters these days are opting to kind of stay longer in private equity or VC when it comes to their funding, versus the erstwhile 90s, where a lot of the promoters used to list and the growth was captured by retail investors. So do you see this trend changing, given that, the retail participation is increasing in the markets, and then companies opt to go public a lot earlier? So these are my two questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think good question. So the issue is that, market is valuing whatever has happened in last 20, 25 years. Having a view of what can happen in next 10, 15 years, 25 years, that part is still not captured by the market. I mean, market also has the same apprehension which everybody else has. People sitting in Boston, New York, Singapore, Hong Kong, London, these places, they are reading all the S&P analysts, and this crazy kind of many times very unbelievable kind of a confusion they create, and that's how they end up selling, because they see that China is trading in 10 P multiple. So why should I buy at 20 here? And that's how they end up selling here. So there's a lot of confusion, but nobody has faith, as I have faith, or you should have faith, in the future of India. And future of India, and that's why we said compounded future. So compounded past, everybody can see, but nobody can see compounded future. What he said about 110 to 130 billion dollars of savings, which is going to happen. Money will flow through your ears in the banks, in the well-run mutual funds, banks, the corporates which are catering to savings and investment. Forget about consumption and things like that. So it is going to be a crazy story as we go forward. And it will be a unique story because every country has a unique set of companies which make money. Like two-wheeler companies, nowhere in the world make money, but it makes money in India. A jewelry company, like say Titan, is one of the most loved story out of India. Tell me in US which is a jewelry company which is going to do well. So I think you have to figure out the uniqueness of India and the unique future which India promises and bet onto that. And that has been happening in the past, and there is no reason why we will not make money of 12 to 14%, that modest expectation you keep, why you will not make that, despite little elevated valuation we have today. Elevated when I see the current earnings. But if by chance the earnings grow 2-3% higher, then this becomes very reasonable valuation. So those are caveats, but I mean, all the hesitation which people have, they're not trying to look at the future, and market is clearly discounting the future.
I think next question is from our member CA Chandrakant Pawar. Sir, ये मुझे पक्का मारवाड़ी या गुजराती CA दिखता है, because he has asked 3 questions and very specific. At what level do you see the Nifty in the next 5 to 10 years?
In next 5 years, I'm very clear it will be double.
Okay,
and next
great.
year it will be 4x.
Great, sir.
Yeah.
We can have a big round of applause for this. And can Reliance Jio become the next Bajaj Finance?
It can be bigger. See, but see, Bajaj Finance is successful in its own capacity. So trying to replicate, if you try to sing better than Muhammad Rafi, you can never become Muhammad Rafi. Never. You will get $10,000 for singing better than Muhammad Rafi. And actually, who becomes more valuable? Muhammad Rafi himself. So, if Jio tries to copy Bajaj Finance will become more valuable, let me tell you. So, Jio has to find his own strength. Opportunity size is massive. See, right now the credit book is about 150 lakh crores in India. It is growing at about 15%. So, every year, there is a 20 to 25 lakh crores of additional credits being given. They're just about starting from zero. Even if they have a lakh or 2 lakh crores, out of this 25 lakh crore growth, there is enough for Bajaj Finance as well as Reliance Jio. So it is not about Reliance Jio versus Bajaj Finance. It is Reliance Jio and Bajaj Finance. So yes,
Great.
Bajaj Finance will keep doing its thing very well, and Jio will come and let them prove they can lend and collect money. Lending is very easy. Collecting is very difficult. And that's what, by copying Bajaj Finance, you can't copy their capability to collect back the money. So I think this discussion happens, but I think Reliance Jio itself, Mukesh Bhai is not a person who typically does things for $1 billion or $2 billion. He wants to create something which is as big as Jio in telecom, and I think this is one of the huge initiatives to make an impact on the financial economy of India. So I would think that it will be, I would say that Reliance Jio might do better than Reliance itself. So that's the kind of ambition they have. And let's see whether the opportunity and the competence to execute, they come together. Opportunity is definitely there. They have the lowest cost of borrowing. They have lowest cost of execution. They have the highest credit rating. They have the highest number of data set of 500 million people in India. There is no reason why they should not be successful. But till they have succeeded, market will not salute them. So let's wait for it.
Thank you, sir. So at the end of the day, you can invest in both, Chandrakant. I think we can take.
Namaskar. Enjoyed listening to all of you. And Ramdev ji, I am invested in the market. You are managing of my parents' portfolio, which I am inherited. I am just not trading anywhere, but still it is growing. So thanks to the market. And we should remain invested as chartered accountants in the equity, because that is the ultimate place where we will make money. Few questions from my side. US recession, ongoing war around everywhere, and why you are not still predicting India to be the leader? Why you're still showing US to be the top after 47 also, at 47, 2047, whilst all Indians are ruling all the best companies? Why can't we have India the top?
So, basically, I have not predicted anything. This is the just extrapolation of the numbers which has happened in the last 25 years. I don't have competence to predict anything about India, US, China, or for that matter, anybody. It is just an extrapolation number. If what has happened in the last 25 years happens at the same pace for next 25 years, this is what the numbers are going to be. Obviously, the outcomes will be different. What you're saying is right. Whether India will be number 3, number 2, or number 1, we don't know. That only time will tell. If we accelerate at the rate of 13%, 12 to 13%, which is too tall an ask, But if by chance we're able to do even 5 years at about 10, 11%, I'm telling you, we will not have time to come here and speak to you. That's the kind of money Indian system is going to make. So anything is possible when it comes to future. I mean, 20 years back, nobody would have said that China will be number 2 economy in the world. 20 years back, nobody said that. Today, everybody is making all kinds of forecasts. So it is very difficult to figure out what will be the fate of the economies because a lot more depends on the leadership in terms of what happens to the rest of the world. Suddenly, services economy is growing big time. AI is coming. The technological changes are very rapid. India, which was nothing in technology 20 years back, today it is a global force. So a lot of things can change. I don't have any crystal ball to figure out what all will change and how it will change, how it is going to be positively impacted, negatively impacted. No idea. But I think broad trajectory remains like that. And when we talk about 25 years, what is important in the next 3 years or 5 years, which we are going to face it very immediately. And that seems to be not going anywhere.
Super, sir. You don't have a crystal ball, but I have a crystal ball. I can see from 1 questions to 2 questions, 3 questions, and now few questions. This is the last question we'll take in the interest of time. Last question, sir. Please go ahead, and then we'll close the session.
Hello, sir. Sir, so, you spoke about 29%, 30% saving rate, 1.2 trillion. And RBI says net saving is 5%. What part of the gross saving goes into equity market of the total?
Yeah. So let me give some numbers. Total savings of India is about 30%. Of that, household savings about 20%. Of that, financial savings about 6%. Of that 6%, 1% goes to shares, debentures, and mutual fund. Less than 1%. So that's a number. And so of the 300 lakh crores GDP, 3 lakh crore, little less than that, maybe 2.5 lakh crore goes into mutual fund plus original, IPO to the companies. So I would think less than 1 lakh crore goes to the companies. Now with this 130 million demat accounts and 200 going towards 250 million demat accounts, that trajectory which is about 1 lakh crore, that is likely to go to 5 to 7 lakh crores. So the Indian entrepreneurship is going to explode, but it is going to take time. I mean, in next 2 to 3 years' time, you see the impact of the money which is flowing into the companies now.
Okay. Sir, one more question. On NPS, what is your view? Because somebody asked about pension scheme, and national pension scheme is government scheme. I am invested in it. It gives 15% YOY, I think. So is it good avenue for people in Gulf to invest?
You have got return of 15%.
Yes, YOY. For I started in 2017. So my past 6 years compounded return is 15% on national pension scheme.
Very unlikely, but if you are saying so, I have to
accept. So sir, I double down when market goes down. So in COVID, I'll double down and so on.
NPS is all debt investments. Huh?
No, sir, equity plus debt. I am 60% equity.
So I'm not fully informed, but if you are investing in equity, anything is possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I think you have this framed QGLP investment framework, quality, growth, longevity, and favorable price, and your investing philosophy: buy right and sit tight. And you, as you mentioned in your presentation, that the rupee is depreciating every year 3%, and interest rate is also getting increased by RBI continuously. Energy prices are increasing continuously. Risk of Chinese economy is getting slowed down. I mean, when China was growing, the world economy was growing. But now when Indian economy is growing at a rate of 8% or 7%, but the world economy is going down. So according to you, whether the current stock prices are fairly priced or overly priced, or is it the right time to invest in the stock market as we speak?
See, one of the things is that entrepreneurs are the biggest magician. आपके हजार आप variables निकालो, but entrepreneur finds way of making money. And hence, Indian entrepreneurs are smart. They'll keep making money. Current valuations, as per me, is fully priced. I mean, very reasonably priced, I would say. Little more on the for the known facts, it is little on the higher side, but not obscenely too high a price. Maybe 5% here or there, but it's very fairly priced. And people coming into the market, if they're looking at 1 or 2 years, maybe they can be surprised on the a lower return. But if you're coming for 10, 15 years, or you're looking at retirement and things like that, allocation for a very long time, then it doesn't matter. That 14% will become 13.8% or something like that because of little stretch valuations. But longer term, I'm sure that it's not going to make an impact.
I think Ajay ji, you are working in the technology sector, and according to you, you know that Jiroda, they are charging 0% on the delivery and then 20 rupees per executed transaction for the intraday trading. So where do you see yourself, in terms of the online trading and all, what all you are doing from your side?
So actually we are also very much into technology in the overall scheme of things, but we clearly focus on our advisory, research, and our distribution of all the products. So if you know what to do, then a Zerodha platform is best to go and execute. But when you don't know what to do and you require the advice and the research, that is when Motilal Oswal comes into picture. We have the technology support to that, but the advice and research is what we bank on, plus the distribution of all our products. And now we are in Dubai also. So you'll require, in this whole transition of the market, as Ramdev said, the volatility is going to be so high. So unless you know where to invest and how much to invest, it is very difficult to make money in this market. So there is where we'll be able to give you the better advice and research to make best use of your overall investments.
Thank you very much, sir, for all your time and spending the time with our members and answering the questions to their satisfaction. Can we have a big round of applause for our learned speakers? Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Sir, you said invest right, sit tight. Today you are in Dubai chapter. What are the 4 words today you want to give, which we will carry forward saying, Ramdev sir said here on this platform these 4 words, and this becomes history. Yes, sir. What are the 4 words which you give today to Dubai chapter, which you will say, which becomes history? The way it became invest right and set tight. How do you define something new for ICA Dubai chapter today?
It's very tough for me to say, but buy right and sit tight.
Buy right and sit tight. Again, he insists on this. With this,
sir, any specific sector or any specific stock you can suggest, that will be great.
Yeah, I think there is an audiovisual which was being showed here. We have just started here only. This is the first time it is being showed. It was somebody was asking how Motilal Oswal positioned itself. So we said we are bullish from 87, we are bullish today, and we are more bullish about the future. That's the thing, and it's a brand new launch. It's not there in the public in Mumbai also. Oh. So that's the positioning, and I've been a perma bull. So you try to squeeze me from any side, I'll still say it will compound at 15% in 5 years, double, 4 years, in 10 years, 4 times. So that's the opportunity. And this time, I'm telling you, I've been there in the market for 40 years. I never felt this looks like a real Amrit Kal of investing in India. And the opportunity is outstanding. And one should make best out of it, and not for short term, but a little longer term. But I think India is on a roll.
Clearly, I love that positive outlook. Amrit Kal of India. With this, you have a research paper. You might have found a gift hamper which has the research paper of Motilal Oswal. Please take it. That will help you to have Amrit in this Amrit Kal. With this, can we have a round of applause for the panel? And Ajay Menon sir, we have to felicitate you at the last finally. Can I have Sanjay ji, the Vice Chairman? Chairman is already on stage. Vice Chairman, please come on the stage and we'll felicitate Ajay Menon sir for his session as a panelist. And can we have vote of thanks for our sponsors and speakers? Can I invite Malvika for a vote of thanks for sponsors and speakers, please? Give a round of applause for Malvika.
Here we have come to the end of today's session. All of our esteemed speakers have thrown before us some great insights on the subject topic. While the 4H of CA Rajiv Agarwal is life-sustaining, for India's growth, the 5 Ps of Mr. Akhil Chaturvedi leads to greater momentum for performance. Thanks to our speaker, Mr. Ramdeo Agarwal, and panelist, CA Ajay Menon. We cannot forget our sponsors, and it's our duty to thank them all. Thank you to our title sponsor, Bricks and Woods Real Estate, principal sponsor, MBG, Tally, IFCO, Lulu, AGMC, Geely, and Strokes and Grounds, event sponsor, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, banking sponsor, Bank of Baroda, travel partner, Uranus Travels, platinum sponsor, NUF Chartered Accountants, UHY James, SBC, Nalsoft, and ECAG, valuation partner, Windmills, magazine partner, Finance World, media partner, Khalij Times, institutional partner, Delhi Private School. Thank you to all our beloved members. Thank you and have a great weekend.